Hey everybody, it's EGI2's Stream 14. We're coming at you live from EGI2's headquarters, twitch.tv/EGI_2. I want to give a big round of applause, a big welcome to our guest this evening, Kristin Wallace.
Hello.
How are you doing, Kristin?
I'm doing good today.
Kristin is a gamer. She is a comedy writer. She's written on cartoons. She's a hilarious stand-up comedian and many other things that she does. She does them well. She's not a violent person as far as I know. She's never touched the pin of a grenade. She's never seen the look of fear in the eye of someone on the receiving end of the grenade when she tosses, but she hasn't done it, so she would be tossing the grenade over the fence into the forest where the enemy lies. The enemy lies there all day and all night, waiting for us to come out so that he can fire at us and hit us in the legs, and then and then we lie down.
I did play PUBG Mobile a lot, but I've never been good at throwables.
Throwables.
Yeah.
Throwables being your grenades, your Molotov cocktails,
right.
Sticks of dynamite.
Somebody recognized that.
Discus landmines. You throw the landmine like the discus, and then you step on the landmine. And sometimes they're the ones that pop out of the ground, and they shatter the bodies and the lives of young men and women who have unfortunately stepped upon the spring-loaded device of death, the death dealer.
Yep.
And they shoot you in the legs when you come out of hiding if you're not careful and if you haven't thrown the grenade. So. And if your body is lying in the grass, looking up at the sky, while tracer bullets fly over and burn the tips of your nose, then you perhaps know why sometimes one does throw the grenade. Kristin?
That's why I feel like I know war. You know.
She's known war. She's been through it. She's understood. Allan, what are you doing?
I was looking for a stick to poke you with because I had a question about what you were saying.
What is the question now?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about a video game or is this a story?
I'm trying to introduce our guest tonight. It's Kristin Wallace. She's a funny. She's
hi.
a comedian. She's a comedy writer. She's
Nice
a
to meet
cartoon
you.
writer.
Okay,
she's
great.
a gamer,
Are you okay in there?
stand-up
Yes.
comedian. And she has, like I said, never known the feeling of sticking your finger into the cold steel of a pin on a grenade, pulling the pin, and then tossing the thing.
So, Kristin, you do know war or you don't know war? I'm confused.
I know. Well, I did start playing Fortnite a week ago, so I know war.
That's great, because this is a video game show. Everyone talks about video games when we do this show. So Fortnite is a popular game, so maybe that would be an appropriate topic to talk about. Back to you, Kristin.
Back to you, Kristin, and back to you, Allan.
Thank you
for that, and back to you, chat. Welcome to the show. It's EGI2's Stream 14 with special guest Kristin Wallace.
Hi.
Kristin, you're here tonight because I made a pile of accolades for you, and on which you sit upon the pile, and from which point up there you're up there, and I'm waving at you from below, and I'm saying, Kristin, tell us a little bit about yourself, because obviously I've spent a little bit of time talking, and I want you to. Thank you for subscribing at Dinky Gix Steam One Tream.
Robbie.
Oh, we have a
Robbie,
a
hype train. A hype train is starting.
Take a pause from introducing our guest tonight, Kristin Wallace, because we do have Robbie. We do tell a story from an improvised story, and this is obviously we're thinking about war. We're thinking in war we lose ourselves.
War story.
One
of Robbie's famous
our
war
morals.
stories.
We lose our bearings sometimes. When the wildness comes and the bloodlust and the fire inside of you is burning so hot that it's your mind evaporates, and your eyeballs are searching in the darkness, and they get wide and dilated pupils, and everyone's different when that level of violence happens to you in the forest, in the trees, when the trees are filled with the birds, and the birds are people.
Robbie's telling a story right now. He's going to be doing it for the next 4 or 5 minutes. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan. And this, of course, is a story about the time that the birds became.
Robbie.
The birds fought back.
Robbie, you already got to level 2 of hype. Level 2 hype train is happening right now. Thank you so
Train's
much
great.
to the followers for this. Robbie will continue the story for another 4 or 5 minutes. I think it's a war story.
If you get hungry, we do have a little canister of mixed nuts there. If you wanted to have something to enjoy yourself, enjoy the story with. I'm just going to put it there, but we do have to get back to the truth of the matter, which is that the birds were people.
What?
In this story, the birds, a long time ago, before birds became the small things that we hear about, that we see in the newspapers and the magazines, and that we understand to be largely innocuous objects in our day-to-day lives. Birds were the size of people, Kristin, and we do know this now because of the historical record and, of course, the fossil record. On top of the historical record, well, because we don't have the historical record, because back then people didn't write books. They had
what do you mean?
Whatever they wrote things, they sketched. They made little notches in rocks, or sometimes they made their own steel out of melting down steel. They would just find beams, I guess, in caves, and they would melt those down, and they would make weapons. And some of them were people that made these weapons, and some of these people had wings, and they had long people beaks, which means to say that in the same way that the primates evolved one way and we evolved the other way, the zootopic primates evolved one way and we evolved the other way. We also did that with birds. So most animals, we've known this for a long time. We've known that we did that with birds? Mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, bugs, we all shared a common ancestor, Alan. We know this, right?
Okay, go on.
And so this ancestor was what we called the I mean, I don't want to.
54%.
We're up to. I don't want to say the name out loud because I feel like it has a lot of more connotations in our lives than it does now than it did back then. But it was called the stripper.
Just so you know, a little warning about these stories. As the hype trains go on, I've noticed, and the viewers have noticed, that the stories get quite problematic.
And this is not a problem because what she was stripped back then, she was.
And sexual.
It was a female.
Yeah.
And she was stripping away she was kind of like pulling herself in half through the stripping, but she was also bearing herself to the cosmos as it was. So she was dancing. There was an audience of one, and that audience
80%,
was the
2-minute warning.
The stars spinning in the sky. So multiple audience. Well, the sky was the audience, and then there's multiple entities within the sky, but the sky was the audience of one. And she would dance at all times of the day and the night, and all seasons of summer and spring and fall and winter. She would dance and she would let her, and she was free. What's that?
Stripping away stigma.
Stripping away stigma, exactly. But also stripping parts of her body off that would become the animals, of the animal kingdom and the people
stripping
of
away
the
parts of her body off that would
fellowship
become
of
the animals?
humanity in which we find ourselves today, Alan.
So wait, she's stripping apart parts of her body, and
yeah,
the parts
she was stripping
become
parts
animals?
of her body, and there was people watching.
What's left?
There was she was stripping. Well, she thought she was stripping for an audience of one, which was the sky, and then, but in fact, she was actually stripping for a number of small fellers. We called them. We called them. And we were talking about bird people, and obviously how we all share the common ancestor.
Warning.
Well, this is the mouse people, and the mouse people were tiny, mostly male. There were females in the mouse people, but everybody was into everything, is what I'm trying to say. When you see when the
Robbie,
mouse
you
people
did it!
would see,
Yay! The story got sort of interesting quick, and it's working because now we're on a level 3 hype train for 4 or 5 more minutes. The story's going to continue. This is one of his weirdest stories.
Here too. That's so exciting.
Thank you so much, first time chatter. Enjoy this.
When the mouse people would see a beautiful thing, whether it be a woman, a man, or any other variation of humanity or animality that there is in between, they would watch and they would sweat, and their eyes would get really wide, and then they would start patting each other on the arms and shoulders,
Not
and
very
then
smart.
patting would be turning into pulling, and then pulling would be turning into jumping and rolling, and pretty soon the whole this whole village of tiny mouse people was just absolutely just fully hardened.
What do you mean hardened?
Hardened.
Pokemon move.
I'm talking about just hard. all the details would get all the minute details. I'm just trying to say were fully hardened, and all of and everything that wasn't simply hardened was also quite soaked.
Thank you, Krygon72, for gifting a tier 1 sub. Thank you.
Thank you for the tier 1 sub, and thank you for sharing this story with us, because we do want to get to the point of the mouse people, which is that the mouse people, of course, in the throes of passion in which they found themselves when they would see these this beautiful giant woman, this shapeshifter, this mother to us all, but not mother, because we wouldn't want to, obviously we wouldn't want to pollute the attraction that the mouse people would have to this creature.
Not mother.
Not mother.
Not mother.
But in some ways, because she was parts of her clothes would come off, and then they would just turn into the tops of the trees, and it would turn into the pathways in which we ramble.
What about cheese?
Thank you, first time
It
chatter.
would turn into sometimes, yes, there would be some cheese. That's how we got. I mean, obviously, food in the same way that animals and humans share the same ancestor. Plants and food also share the same ancestor. So that's
plants and food share an ancestor.
Yeah, so that's the same ancestor.
Gaia.
Oh, I
Gaia,
see.
or mana, as we sometimes call it in the parlance of certain of a certain well-regarded video game franchise. And so, but the birds. But the mouses would tire themselves out by.
It wasn't a can of nuts.
Thank you, Dingy.
It was not a can of nuts. It was snakes. It was.
Robbie,
it was
head train level 4. Use all the train emojis you can, because this is wild, and this means this is one of Robbie's weirdest stories, one of his most sexual stories, and it's going to be going on for another 4 or 5 more minutes. So keep earning money at your work, your labor, and then saving the money in bank accounts and giving the money to Robbie, but most of it goes to Twitch. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, and it's actually a 50-50 split, but we won't count it. We won't count it. But we will. We want to keep the high train going, because we do have a lot of morals to get to. So the moral is coming as soon as we explain what happened to the mouse. The little mice-looking people, they weren't quite, they had muzzles, but they weren't like as long as they were probably about like somewhere halfway between me face, this face,
yes,
and a mouse face, muzzle-wise. So regular muzzles, not big mouse muzzles, but regular muzzles that you would see on sort of a hybrid creature, Kristin. Kristin's having a lovely time. Thank you so much for being such a welcoming family to our new friend Kristin Wallace here. But we do must have the mouse person that we must focus in on was the one that was known only that would see the stripper, and he would be the only one that wasn't into it.
What?
He was the only one that wasn't into it. He said, all of his friends, all of his family would just start to fall down and roll on the ground and run into each other and fall into each other in ways that just unexpected. You can't imagine people doing that these days. We have a lot more common. We have a lot of common
balance
requests and balance. We find more balance in our relationship. We don't just. Allan, I don't just like run up to you, run against you on the side of the street and just start. I can't do that. But people did.
No, you never run up to me on the side of the street.
I know, and so it's important that people talk to each other and they find out what they're into before that happens.
You can, Robbie, next time you see me on the street, feel free to just run right up to me. I know you. I'm familiar with you. I'd be excited to see you. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the show. So I would be excited if you ran up to me.
So if I ran up to you, Allan, what I would say is, Allan, my name is Robbie Rackleff. I'm the host of EGI2.
I know, you don't have to introduce me. I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan of the show,
yeah.
and
I'm a friend of the stream.
I'm also, and I would say to you, Allan, I consider myself to be heterosexual. I've been into that for a long time, and continues to be one of the driving forces in.
Why are you telling me this? I know.
I think they wanted to hear more about the muzzle.
Yeah,
but the muzzle, the
2 minute warning, 2 minute warning. Robbie got sidetracked. Robbie got sidetracked. 2 minute warning.
That mouse's name.
Oh, here we go. The story's just starting. This is the name.
Well, there's a Chuck E. Cheese across the street.
That was his name. Was Chucky. Chuck E. Cheese.
Wow, what a coincidence!
It's like what they said with comic books a few years ago when Unbreakable came out. They said, the inventing comics guy said it, and he took a long time to say it, and it was
What
he
are you
eventually got to
talking
the
about?
point. But it was the
Unbreakable?
link between comic books and hieroglyphics. Understanding comics, we all read it.
That was a long time ago.
And so the Chuck E. Cheese, the mouse, says to his community, I
Thank you,
fully
an
support
anonymous
you people
gifter.
and everything that you're into and what you're doing on the ground and what you're doing on the walls. And
1 minute and 20
some
seconds.
of you
1
got
minute and 20
got
seconds. We're at
up into the
50%.
ceiling and onto the shelves, and because they had shelves, because they all lived outdoors. They didn't have houses in the way.
But they had shelves.
Well, because it didn't rain back then.
But they
when
had
it did
shelves?
rain, it was more of
They
a
had
dry kind of. It was more of like a sanding.
What was the character's name?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Uh-huh.
So Chuck E. Cheese says, "I'm not into thing. I'm into birds."
Thank you, Craig. God,
And
72.
and everyone's just like,
1 minute warning.
What the hell
1
is
minute
a
warning. You're
bird?
not going to get it, Robbie.
And just as he said, "I'm into birds," the stripper woman, the giant stripper woman, the mother of all things, she stripped off. She showed off a big part of herself by flinging some sort of a piece of lingerie, a piece of like primordial lingerie. I don't even know what that would look like. I guess it would have probably some flesh or an eye or something that was stuck to her, like a socket on her body somewhere.
A socket?
Yeah, like a socket that you might plug a laptop into these days. But these days it's just we've dried them all out. They used to be quite wet. And so she threw that, and it became a bird. And Chuck E. Cheese sees the thing fly into the air, and he says,
13 seconds, 12 seconds, Robbie. You're not going to get it, even though the story is quite sexual. 10, 9, it's not going to happen.
And
7,
they says to him,
moral.
If you're into
5,
it, and his mom
4.
says, his mom and dad says, if you're into that, then you got to chase it down.
The end.
The end. We unfortunately.
Wow.
Couldn't quite get to the moral of the story, but I won't, and I'm not supposed to continue on, Kristin, but I will say one thing about the moral of the story was that the bird was a regular bird at first.
People are saying that we got to 69%. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Did they do it on purpose?
And the bird was a regular bird, and then the mouse boy, Chuck E. Cheese,
Mouse boy,
went off and made love to the bird, and then
they had
What animal did we get from that?
I'm saying that they had like a person. That person happened.
Harpies.
A person came out of that situation, and that person was like a mouse person hybrid, and that person became the progenitor.
Please stop talking. Please stop telling the story.
Sorry.
EGI2 Watcher has a note for you, Robbie.
Okay.
Message to Robbie. Please make the stories more sexual faster.
So
get to that quick. Like on Hype Train level 2, start getting there.
Very few times. I would say that this is about as fast as I think stories from that period of time, from that prehistory period, get to being anything close to sexual. And I wouldn't consider this a sexual story at all.
I hope that my female presence didn't, scare you from getting sexual faster.
No, I mean, in what way?
In the fear that you may offend me.
Oh.
Robbie
when in fact I am a proprietor of hentai,
I
that's.
I kind of forgot you were here.
I've never.
Well, I guess February's over. So
because I obviously I was so drawn into thinking about war, and then I was thinking about prehistory periods and what happened before we could have books and interact with each other without causing pregnancies. That kind of just went off on my own. So
Robbie's often on his own.
I'm often on my own.
He doesn't listen to other people or even see. I don't even think Robbie notices people because when I see him out in the world, he does bonk into people and knock people over. So I don't take anything he says personally.
One time, hentai, my autobiography.
What I don't know what that word means, but
hentai.
I'm sure it's a fun fun thing that people are into. People write that word on boats, I assume. So hentai is cool, and EGI2 is cool, and EGI2 is cool. A fun family show for people who enjoy history and also talking about video games, news,
and
reviews,
now let's start the show. Let's
start conversation. So let's start the show right now with
Thank you, Vague Plague.
With Kristin Wallace.
Hi.
Kristin, you're native born of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. I am
DC.
too.
Yes.
It's something that we share in common, especially, I guess, our love of hentai. Something people seem to really people seem excited about hentai. So
sound off in the chat if you like hentai or understand what that is.
I'm into it too, and perhaps there could be a hentai EGI2 crossover someday.
That would be awesome.
Whatever team
with me and Robbie.
In the same way that we've been having trouble finding a sponsor for EGI2, we've had to rely on old Dreamcast games like Frame Guide or bitmap books that I already own, or copper wire with plastic coating on top of it. We perhaps could be sponsored by this company, Hentai.
That would be great.
So I think that joke's gone long enough, so we're going to move on to the next section of the show.
I did bring you a gift.
You brought me a gift.
I brought
That's
you a
so
gift.
sweet.
Just because I know that you like video games and stuff.
Robbie does like video games.
I brought you this kimono.
Whoa!
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
This is yours.
Oh, wow,
Oh my
Robbie,
gosh.
that looks so great.
It would. I think it's gonna. This is gonna. This.
Let's see that on.
I'm wearing this into the Rackleff bedroom tonight, and see if the wife looks at me differently.
Wear it now.
Thank you so much. This is beautiful.
You're welcome. It is
Oh,
from,
well,
it
wear
is
it.
from
That's a great idea.
Asia.
It's from Asia.
It is from Temu.
Temu.
I wore it once for a
Wow.
character and then never again.
And now Robbie can wear it.
And
Oh,
now
I'm
it
wearing
is
it.
yours.
No.
and I
wearing
think
it
this
too, and
might
it's
juice
got-
the numbers. I think people will see in the thumbnail that Robbie's
very
wearing this
Wear it
beautiful
fucking
garment.
now, they're
if this-
saying.
I
Yes.
can't quite.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if these are yokai or if they're more like
That looks quite
more
nice
just
on you. Robbie.
regular.
It's quite
They're
stunning.
Chinese Buddhist characters or I don't know what this is, but it's beautiful and I love it. I feel like a different person. I feel more confident. I feel like I'm going to be able to when I take the bus in a couple of days, when I do my weekly trip to the public pool on the public bus. I'm going to wear this and see if people if I turn heads.
I think it will work as a cover up as well. At the before you get into the water.
Point of order, special correspondent Allan Resnick has a point of order.
I just want to comment on the beautiful garment that you gave Robbie. There's always been something about Robbie that didn't make sense to me, and I think confused a lot of people. But as soon as I saw him put that on, all of a sudden it clicked, and I said, now I get it.
Kristin, you're obviously a funny person. You've been around the block a few times in terms of the block. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll let you describe it, because I think I've talked enough for a long time. So why don't you talk for a few minutes and I'll just look at this beautiful shirt.
I've been around the block. I'm so glad you like the shirt. I am wearing my ICP hoodie, which was one of the last fun things I did right before the pandemic. They had a beer weekend at Pershing Square here in LA. And it was $20 to get in, all you can drink, except if you want to purchase their beer, which they released that weekend. ICP has a beer.
$20 all you can drink.
$20 all you can drink.
That seems like an incredibly good deal.
Is it an ICP? Get the button ready. Get the button ready?
Well,
the punny video game news.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we don't have it? Okay,
Here,
so
Robbie,
I'm going to say,
the
question I was going to ask is it an ICP IPA? And then
Oh, here.
and then a graphic would come on. There we go.
I can do that, and I can.
Oh,
That'll work.
Well,
I had a glittery blueberry flavor named Ned and Wet, which you can deduce what that means in Juggalo language.
a lot of drinks have skulls on them nowadays, Kristin Wallace, and I wonder if you have noticed this and if it worries you in the same way that it worries me.
I think that it happened when skulls were happening, and now skulls are not as happening as they once were.
You don't think the skulls are out?
Unless you're Mexican, yes.
So skulls are out. What's in?
What's in?
Self-deprecation.
Self-deprecation.
Even though that's kind of hard to draw unless you draw yourself real fat and sad.
Hentai apparently.
Hentai
Well,
we have-
hentai's
we had
always been in, but it's just kind of like, you know,
The poll gave us about 80%, 82% on hentai, so hentai is officially
EGI2 sponsor hentai. and I'll figure out what that is, and I'll make a special
Death is
button
out,
for that.
love is in.
Death is out, love is in. Joe Botnick.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Friend of the show.
What a beautiful thought from one of our great living poets, our great.
Love is in.
Our great English poet Joe Botnick is always throwing us with these beautiful.
Sports are out.
Sports are out. Love
You
is
gotta go.
in.
Sometimes you gotta go back to the source, Kristin Wallace. Go back to the source of the English
Jimmy
language.
Jackpot
to
says
the
Kristin
old,
Wallace
the
has
old
an
country.
awesome goblet.
And we have goblets, and that reminds me of a goblet story. I was going to. I needed to go to the. Last time I was overseas, I was over in Europe, and I was in London, and I says to myself, I gotta have a mission this time because I kind of just wandered around the last couple times I had gone by myself and found various nooks and crannies, and they've got these things that they used for measuring the water levels.
Wow.
So if you wander around some of the older buildings in London, you'll find these little arrows pointing at like a line, and that's where the water levels were measured from.
Like I used to be right there?
Well, I don't know exactly how it happened, but the point is that I went and searched for a goblet, and this goblet was a goblet that was in the Victoria and Albert Museum. If you heard this story before, don't stop me because I've got to get it all out now. This is a true
Robbie,
story.
I don't think you should be telling stories at this part.
No. This is not a moral story. This is just a story of how important it is to have goals.
That sounds like
folks.
a moral. The moral is how important it is to have goals.
Well, that's more of like
that's a moral.
That's not a moral. It's just an instruction.
Wait, how did we get here? You were talking about London travel.
He was looking for a goblet.
I was looking for a goblet that was in the
Thank you
Victoria
for this.
Albert Museum that was supposedly stolen from the little people.
What do you mean, the mice?
No, the little people of the forest.
What are you talking
The
about?
forest people.
This is a story.
Sometimes
There's
we
no
call
hype
them.
train.
Sometimes
I just checked.
some people call them little Rickies.
Cody
You ever heard
Fancy
this
Pants says
before?
the kimono isn't getting any less sick.
Yeah. You're giving a hype train story away from
No, this
free.
is not a hype train story.
I
This is
know,
not a
but,
story.
like-
This is not a prehistorical.
Don't give it away,
This
Robbie.
is not something that was passed down to the oral
Robbie,
fixations.
rarity
The
gives
oral
things value.
traditions of
Okay.
people. This is in fact a true story about how I went to find this goblet that was stolen from the Little Rickies and placed and held by one of the great landlords, the pre-Arthurian English countryside.
This really sounds like a story.
Someone wants to know, are we hyping? Which,
No
like,
hype.
yes, if you want the full version of that story, I think.
So
I mean, give
it
bits,
turns out.
give bites. We'll see where it goes, but I don't really know
I don't
what's
think
happening.
I don't
We've
think
lost
this is
control
where-
of
this
the
is,
show.
Keep your bits, keep your bites, because this is.
We're not telling them to keep their biddies.
Give your bites, give your bits, give your subs. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free sub. I think there's a Patreon now. I don't understand.
I used my sub last week.
Thank you
Thank you so much, friend of the
Kristin
show.
Wallace, and thank you for everyone who's subbed this evening. The story, the goblet. Well, let's not call it a story. Let's just call it a discussion. The goblet discussion.
England stole
can end
everything from
because
everyone.
The
Someone said.
family. The man who stole the goblet was this great pre. I don't know if it was pre-unification England unification landlord whose offspring and ancestors and descendants, not ancestors, descendants, went on to do great many of things, mostly die, except that the line ended with one person, and that person was H.P. Lovecraft's mother.
What? Why are you telling us this? Is that a game? That's like one of those, the Sinking City. Is one of these new H.P. Lovecraft games?
No, this is just a story about how if you're gonna take a trip, have to make yourself a little mission.
I just started playing Fortnite.
Let's talk about
last
that.
week.
That is a popular game. Tell us about Fortnite. What is that?
It's a battle royale. I play zero build. My handle is very genuinely on there. Because I think I made an account a few years ago and didn't play because I usually go by the tag very genuine.
Very genuine tag. That's your Fortnite tag, or is that your genuine?
That's my tag across all, like, very genuine on socials, very genuinely on Fortnite. And I've been told that, I have really bad gamer tags for these group things because
Right.
like a name like that, people get excited about killing you.
Do you want to know what my original gamer tag was? It was Advent Sucking.
Why?
25 days of
No, it was
Sucking.
Advent. It was Advent. Hi, Kristen. Mossy once says, "Hi, Kristen. My partner Kimball plays Fortnite and wants to know if you like the lightning bolts."
Honestly, as a first-time player, and then that being a thing that's so powerful, I really like the lightning bolts. But had I been playing for a long time and the lightning bolts were around, I think I would have been very upset about that.
It was actually Cody Fancy Pants was Advent Sucking, ING sucking Advent Sucking, and the reason it was called Advent Sucking was because there was an Xbox third-person shooter that was written by Orson Scott Card, Allan.
I'm going to try to keep the show about video games. You play Fortnite. What other kind of games do you
that
play?
game was called Advent
That'd be
Rising,
kind of a
and it
video
wasn't
game
good.
question.
It was not a very good game, so
Advent
I decided to make a bit of I made myself a bit of a, what do you call it? A little bit of a little clever devil I was, taking that Advent Rising game to task, down on the mat with it.
Kristen, what other kind of
Advent
games?
Sucking it was, and to this day, I think that's still associated with my Xbox account.
Before I started dating last week's guest,
Rising.
I was
Advent
really
Sucking.
into Baldur's Gate because that was the only time.
Baldur's Gate. What about Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. That was the only source of anything romantic that was happening for me in my life.
And what characters were you touching?
Was I sourcing?
Getting close with and making
Spoiler
friendships?
alert: Shadowheart is a tease and a waste of time, and her sex scene is not. It's an X scene. It's nothing.
Shadowheart's the I think it's a Chemco game. Perhaps no, it's like an old GameCube game. Shadowhearts.
Yeah, Shadowheart is a weird half elf she's an emo girl and not in the cool way.
She's not what you're saying.
But on my last campaign, I romanced Will.
Thank you.
I played a very goody two shoe bard huntress, and I killed Karlach. So Will didn't turn into a devil, and I had him as God intended the whole time.
Wow.
So that was breaking news. Karlax is dead. Hentai is up. Karlax is down, and the shirt. And this shirt is, I think that you could say, Alan, the shirt is on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the shirt looks quite hot.
Karlax.
Kristin, Wallace, what's been happening with your life? Are you happy? Are you safe? Are people? We've been talking a lot about the use of grenades and the use of various projectile weapons in terms of protecting you and you're protecting your friends.
I'm not sure that I'm safe or happy.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
My job, and I am very much in love. I'll say that. That is a good thing.
Breaking news.
With the previous guest?
That's breaking news.
Yes.
First one is breaking news, not safe. Second news is breaking news for so that was 3 breaking news alerts. First one not safe, second one not happy, but third one in love. So
question about the love?
Yes.
You're a fan of EGI, you were watching EGI, you saw the guest and you said, who is that?
Yeah, I said, who is that hot guy?
Got it.
I'm going to date him.
Wow.
So thanks to EGI too.
This is the power, Robbie, this is the power of EGI.
I met the love of my life
incredible.
within 1 week.
Wow.
I saw him on this show last week, and then we started dating immediately. I was in the comments. I said, hot guest.
One wild week.
I can't stop thinking about the Vietnam War. I can't help it. Are you guys thinking about the Vietnam War?
Well, I think about all the good music that came from it all the time. So it's just like, do we want war for good music? And the answer could be.
Well, you had to have You had to have great music to keep an entire generation of young men and many women too from going completely insane in the jungles of and the forests and the mountains.
Wait, somebody said a guest polycule, which it is not a polycule.
And
it is a monocule.
And in the cities too.
But people watching now could fall in love with you and try to date you. You never know, because that's the power of EGI.
I got it locked down. I got it locked and loaded. I'm with the LOML.
And that's what the song came out, right, Alan? That's All You Need Is Love. That was the Vietnam War
Vietnam
anthem
that they would play. You see it
it
in every movie when they show the helicopters going into Vietnam, the aerial shot of the helicopters, you'll hear that song.
You guys, I hate the Beatles.
Who?
Exactly. I hate the Beatles so much I don't use crosswalks.
I have to say one last thing, which is that we do think of the Vietnamese War, and they of course refer to it as the American War, but we think of it as largely one that takes place in the countryside. But there were one of the longest battles of the war, Kristin Wallace, was actually in a city, and was largely urban warfare for about 4 weeks. the battle for Hue. The front, which was of course the North Vietnamese army meeting up with the VC guerrilla irregulars.
I do like the Gorillas. I really like the song Dare. I like Clint Eastwood.
Love Clint Eastwood.
I like
Good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh wow, there we go.
Plastic Beach.
Classic Beach. What's that?
I've never seen
Plastic Beach.
Plastic Beach. Classic Beach. Why not Classic Beach?
I mean, I love a classic beach.
I love
moment.
a classic beach too. And I
haven't been to the beach in I think over a year.
You got to go to the beach. We got the one.
Well, I have a party trick at the beach, whereas I'll go get fresh oysters, not from the sea, but from a Whole Foods or something, and then I will shuck oysters
at the beach.
You'll
at
shuck
the
your
beach.
own. You'll get oysters from Whole Foods, bring them to the beach, and shuck them.
Yeah, I shuck them for all of my friends, and I'll bring my own mignonette and hot sauce and everything. Lemons.
Wow, that does sound nice. Maybe that would be fun.
Horseradish?
Horseradish, yeah. If you guys, so I don't drive.
Yes.
But if you all ever want to drive me to the beach, I will get oysters and shuck them.
Well,
so that's a good deal.
You know what I like to do is I like to take the train to the beach, and then I bring all of the I have a full body smock, and I can change in and out of my swimming suit right there on Oceanside before I get in the water and do my and tread water for 45 minutes.
I didn't know that. I'm always learning new things about him. I've known him I feel like I've known him my whole life, and
I'm always learning new things.
What about tilapia? It can make a great ceviche.
Great taco, tilapia tacos. Knock them out of the park. Throw them. But you know, don't. The kind of a mind that you have, Kristin Wallace, the mind of someone who thinks to bring the oysters to the beach.
Yeah, I would.
To make sure you get the best. You got your Nova Scotia oysters. Maybe Whole Foods. I don't know if Whole Foods around here carries Apalachicola oysters.
I love Cushy from.
Do you ever get sand? Does sand ever get into the oyster?
The kind of mind that you have is the reason why you've had so much success in this town.
You got to be careful. What about Dorian Electra? Try hard.
What? I don't know what people are talking about. I'm guessing this is hentai related. So let's move on to funny video game news.
Oh, great!
Everybody, funny video game news. Nope. Starts momentarily. Funny video game news. I hope everybody. This is funny. I'll explain. Funny video game news. Prepare your funny bone, everybody. Prepare your funny bone, Kristin Wallace, because we are now entering the world of funny video game news. Are you ready? Kristin, are you ready to laugh? Allan, are you ready to laugh? Funny video game news. Ready to tickle your funny bone. This funny video game news requires a bit of an introduction. There's a video that came in the funny video game news folder. Let's play that to give people an introduction to the subject of tonight's funny video.
I just also want to say I'm so grateful for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Can't stop thinking about Vietnam.
I'm sending you to the free city of Stonehelm to meet a sorcerer named Menelag. He and I have certain shared allegiances. Right now, he's looking for an artifact called the Skull of Shadows, for reasons of his own that are doomed to fail. He thinks you're going to help him, the fool. At least not without this, the Chantary crystal that we retrieved. However, boy, I don't trust you out there alone. I need someone to hold your leash. One can travel lighter than two, Sarah.
Don't worry. You'll learn to enjoy the pain. You can call me Xana.
So I hope that gives people an introduction to tonight's video game news is largely going to be centered around the 2006 first-person action-adventure game, Dark Messiah: Might and Magic.
Well, what's that on?
It's on PC and Xbox 360. It's a first-person game set in the Might and Magic universe. It is one of the few games that uses the Source Engine. Allan, I know you're a big Source Engine fan over there, a big Source Engine expert. What do you think about that?
What's the name of the game?
It's Dark Messiah Might and Magic. So Source Engine is, of course, the engine that powers...
So, of course, all the Steam, all the Half-Life games.
Half-Life.
Dark Messiah.
Not the first Half-Life.
Dark Messiah what?
Half-Life
Dark
2,
Messiah Might and Magic.
Portal.
So Dark Messiah is the name of the game. Might and Magic is the franchise.
That sounds like the beginning of a freestyle. Like Dark
Messiah,
Messiah, Might and Magic.
Have a lot of fun with the kicking me kind
With
of
Crystal looks kind of phallic, but at the same time, vaginal.
I think I can get this. Dark Messiah, show around town. Get a real cab and run it around. Get on top of the cab and kick the person that jumped on the cab, and now you're a hero.
Wow.
Run to the town. The town's snowed in. Use your hot breath and melt the snow. The snow becomes water and everybody's drinking.
Everyone's drinking the water, the quarter. What quarter of the year is this? What quarter is the business in? Dark Messiah, pariah. No one's talking to you because you got the jewel that's going to change the world. You're not a squirrel looking for that nut, but maybe you are.
Wow! Yay!
Hey, everybody.
That was incredible.
There's
There's a lot of talent on the show tonight.
Obviously, Kristin Wallace is a comedic talent. She's
I'm so embarrassed.
Writing genius. This is the EGI2. This is breaking news. We've never had live raps before, Allan.
We've never had any live music. So this is quite incredible. I had no idea.
Here's what's so funny about it, Kristin, is that, and I do think that this is funny. This is funny video game news. This is a different kind of funny video game news, which is that we had rap snacks before the show. Because there were some rap snacks sitting over in the corner there.
I'm still looking at that one.
Yeah, and we had the rap snacks, and then later in the show we rapped.
Wow. So do you think there was some sort of connection between eating the snacks?
I think
Because I ate some of those as well, but I didn't rap.
I think I could have gotten a little bit farther if I hadn't. I tickled my own phony bone.
100 biddies for bars.
Oh,
That's
thank you so
very
much.
Nice.
100 biddies for bars, 100 snacks for raps, and 100 claps for the talented Kristin Wallace, who's in the short time we've known her, has changed our lives irrevocably, and continues to be a source of joy and communion, fellowship, and
what else?
I wish I had more wine. Speaking of communion,
and if we had more,
I wish I had wine to offer. I love to offer our guests wine, but I don't have any wine. But we have water.
Yes,
we have wrap snacks.
Kristin, you love wine.
And sodas.
Are you a Papist?
I don't know what that is, but I am an alcoholic.
Okay, so maybe we won't give
One
you
of the
any more
same,
wine,
perhaps.
but we can
No,
offer you
give
water.
me the wine.
Well, we don't we have wrap snacks.
Yeah, we have wrap snacks. Well, they're Luke's.
I guess I have
they're
my
not
vape.
ours.
Is that okay?
I don't know. It's
Can I
not.
hit
It's
my
Luke's
vape?
studio. You gotta ask.
I think it's probably fine. He's
so
a cool guy.
I've never had wine.
You know, I've
we've never
known
had
him
vaping.
since
I'm
high
assuming
school.
That this is just
Wait, hold on.
This is ever since
You've
I
known-
put
you've
this
known
shirt
Luke
on. I
since
feel
high
like
school?
I
I've
feel
known
like the
Luke
whole
since my
EGI2
junior year.
Okay, so hold on. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Vaping,
No.
baking, rapping, alcohol, drinking.
The show has gotten quite cool. I've noticed. Drinking, smoking, and rapping is happening. And could you tell us what Luke was like in high school? Because Luke deleted our entire show files last week.
So was he
James had to
doing stuff like
rebuild
that in high school, going around the computers in the computer lab and deleting people's files?
So we didn't go to high school together, but we knew each other in high school. We're just from the same city. But I
It's a
remember
small town.
he had a nice basement. I think I watched the music video for I Can't Be Tamed by Miley Cyrus for the first time in Luke's basement. And
Robbie, how old were you when you learned about who Miley Cyrus was?
How old was I when I learned about Miley Cyrus? I want to say probably mid-30s. I heard that he did that to people's homework and grades. It's cool that a family show is cool for families. I enjoy this. This is a cool show now.
This is the coolest episode of EGI2 we've ever had.
And now she's breaking open the gummies. So we know from obviously the laws that have existed for some time in California that gummies are cool gummies now.
And you're wearing a cool ICP shirt, also quite cool.
Yes.
Kind of a juggalette. Kind of a juggalette, not really.
Wow.
So, continuing on with funny video game news,
Okay,
prepare
great.
yourself for the world of funny video game news. Dark Messiah Might and Magic Edition. Nicole, I think you'll be very pleased to know.
Might and Magic.
Dark Messiah.
I had
Might and
no idea what the other word.
What did you think it was?
I don't know, but that would have made the freestyle so much better had I seen the words
Dark
Might and
Messiah,
Magic.
Might and Magic.
See, it's the beginning of a rap.
Put it in a pipe and light it average.
Light it, addict.
It's happening again.
It's happening. Dark Messiah.
Go back to meetings. What's wrong with you?
Go back to meetings.
Now I'm
What's
just
wrong
talking
with
to
you?
myself.
Hey, I'm Robbie Rackleff, and I'm here to say I'm the host of EGI2 on twitch.tv/EGI_2
Day.
every other day, except Mondays and Wednesdays. So,
they
Dark-
love light it average.
I'm just, you know,
Don't light it all
It's
crazy.
a flow. The flow took me, and I
Ooh,
I
Mike
saw,
and Magic. Magic Mike.
the flow was there. The Aunt Flo came to me, Alan.
Okay.
Do you want one?
Dark Messiah Might and Magic is in the video game. It's in the EGI2's funny video game news because former governor of British Hong Kong, the last British governor of Hong Kong, Chris Patton, said, "I'd let Sereth kick me right in the chasm." And that there's two things that need to be explained about the funny video game news. Which
Is Sereth the guy that was introducing the jewel?
No, that was I believe that was not Sereth. That was Menelag.
Was Sereth the woman?
Sereth is the man.
That's who you
Sereth is the main character, and one of the things that it bears pointing out is that one of the main game mechanics in Dark Messiah Might and Magic is the amount of kicking that happens. He kicks orcs and trolls and goblins and
So he doesn't have a dagger.
he has a dagger, and he uses the dagger to stab, and he uses might and uses both might and magic to get what he needs. He can also impale people with spikes and hooks, I suppose. Hooks, Allan? And so what Chris Patton, former governor of Hong Kong,
Allan could make money doing
British Hong
Shia LaBeouf impressions
in
that hat.
So when we say British Hong Kong, we are referring to Hong Kong under the British Empire, the pre-1997 Hong Kong. That was still enthralled to the throne of the
enthralled. Enthralled.
What is the name of
That's such a good word.
The family, Queen Elizabeth II. She's one of the
Kate Middleton. Wait, you all know Kate Middleton's missing, right?
Kate Middleton's missing. Breaking news. This is a show that does pop culture news as well. So since I put the shirt on, we've expanded.
I want to talk about it because I don't know where she is.
What happened?
Kate Middleton's missing.
Oh.
Kate Middleton is missing, and Chris Patton, the former governor of British Hong Kong, is saying about Dark Messiah Might and Magic, "I'd let Sereth kick me right in the chasm." So, and he's taking breaks from his armchair diplomacy. I don't know if I think it's kind to say it's armchair diplomacy that since the handover, Kristin Wallace, Hong Kong has of course been able to have a second
What handover?
In 1997, Hong Kong was handed from the British Empire back to the Chinese government with the promise that in 1997 with the promise
the same year
Hong Kong,
the Pokemon anime premiered.
Exactly, and that's not, and we will have to investigate that further. But after it was handed back
a lot
to
of freedom going around.
The Chinese government, they were promised 50 years of autonomy, of political autonomy, and unfortunately that has not come quite to pass since the beginning of the beginning of the Umbrella movement in Hong Kong up until the point where the
Silent Hill, but you're looking for Kate Middleton.
I have a question.
Yes,
did King Charles pass on? I'm reading King Charles has died.
Is still very much with us.
Is he?
Along with former governor of British Hong Kong, Chris Patton, who apparently while criticizing the CCP for their encroachment into Hong Kong's political autonomy, is also taking plenty of time out to play Dark Messiah Might and Magic.
Robbie, I found something quite funny on the internet. Have you seen this?
That's
is great. Wow.
Would you want to be the king if you're about to die anyway?
Would I want to be the king if I was about to die anyway?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course. That would be
Yeah,
quite
of course.
fun
You
to
get
be the
a
king for
lot
a
of.
little bit.
I assume you get a lot of cars.
What a way to go.
You get a special train that goes to Holyrood.
They have that in DC too, which I didn't know for a long time. The Congress has their own little metro system beneath the Capitol and
I don't
stuff.
know if it's a metro system, if it's a single line from the Capitol building to the offices.
Is it not like one train is a metro to me.
All right, well, I mean,
One train, one track.
one train, one track, one love.
One love! Ja Rule!
So, Chris Patton is, of course, my advice to former British governor of Hong Kong, Chris Patton, is to spend less time playing Dark Messiah, Might and Magic, and
Rather
more
be a
time
king for a day than a schmuck for life.
resettling the Hong Kong independence movement youngsters who have found themselves in such hot water with the CCP since the crackdown in early to mid 2020.
Robbie, have you seen this?
Funny video game news continues with Dark Messiah Might and Magic. I promised you more Dark Messiah Might and Magic, and we've got it. So we've got coming up in the funny video game news, Dark Messiah Might and Magic. Kristin Wallace is in the funny video game news because
someone said that I'm way too cool for the show, which I have to disagree with and say that I am a humble, happy guest.
Humble, happy guest, but also an impressive resume, an impressive human being, has risen through the ranks of the Hollywood elite.
Hentai lover, video game player, all around good guest.
She loves hentai. She loves wine. She loves the good life, Allan. She's here. She's into fast cars.
Wow.
She lives.
I actually don't know how. I don't have a license. So.
Exactly. So you drive them like crazy. You drive them off cliffs. You drive them into walls. You don't care.
And if you get a ride, you'll give oysters and
exactly.
If you give me a ride to the beach, I will shuck oysters for you at the beach. I will, just because I am recently unemployed, I may ask you to fully pay for the oysters, but I will give you I'll make the mignonette on my own because
the shucking has value because it's not easy. You could hurt your hand.
Right? Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. So native Louisianans taught me how.
Somebody I went to high school is an oyster farmer now.
Really?
Mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, is in the funny video game news talking about, of course, the Dark Messiah Might and Magic. Anne Hidalgo says, Aaron's here, better watch out, because Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo is on the case. That bears some explanation because, of course, Paris Mayor, just in the same way that Chris Patton must be busy dealing with the fallout of the political crackdown in Hong Kong that started 4 years ago. Mayor Anne Hidalgo of Paris has been busy essentially reimagining the City of Lights, the great city, the great French city, the great capital city of France.
I thought New York was the City of Lights.
New York is the city that never sleeps. It's the Big Apple. It's a party town. You go there if you want to party.
Yeah, I thought they never slept because of the lights.
They live. It's the year of Allan.
Not sure.
Anne Hidalgo. It should be. Kristin Wallace. Kristin Wallace, you're here tonight to witness the funny video game news as it is coming down through the wire. Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo should be busy planning new bike lanes, expanded metro service, and I guess it's crowd control with the Paris Olympics just a few months away. Oh, and of course I forgot the cleansing of the Seine.
My sister was just in Paris for Fashion Week. I have an older sister that works in fashion, and she had to get out of her taxi and walk to the events because they're already starting the construction.
Of course.
For the Olympics.
It's a big undertaking. It's a major infrastructure bonanza.
Which, that's why they're trying to make things better here right now, because we're hosting the Olympics in 4 years.
You should tell your sister about Dark Messiah Might and Magic.
She did play Pokemon Scarlet.
Dark Messiah Might and Magic is again in the news, Allan and Kristin. because Dark Messiah Might and Magic is in the news because, you guessed it, none other than First Minister Designate of Wales, Vaughan Gething.
That looks like the son of Al Sharpton. I don't know who he is.
That is the First Minister Designate of the country of Wales.
What is he saying?
That is Allan and Kristin. I think you'll be all very surprised to see this. This is for the first time in the funny video game news. Is coming to us down the wire in traditional Welsh dialect. So while in the same way, I think you could say that Chris Patton has been neglecting his duties as a diplomat and as an advocate for the independence movement and the kids, the street kids, the wonderful street kids of the Umbrella movement in Hong Kong, making sure that they're properly resettled as the I would say
Well, politics can be hard.
Politics can be hard
and divisive.
But so can Dark Messiah Might and Magic. But luckily for Sereth,
what was she talking about? The pain that she was going to give him, because it looked like she was about to give him a lot of pleasure.
No, she said I'm on the case.
No, but she said you'll get used to the pain.
Shortly after arriving in Stormhelm, Sereth witnesses an undead Cyclops in a
You'll get used to the pain. I saw her say that.
We're looking it up. Sereth wakes after.
Chat, you saw the clip.
So that's Xana.
She was Xana.
Xana,
who's also. Did she have two names?
Wait. Yes, Xana. So Xana is apparently Menelag's sex person, I guess.
I'm sending you to the free city of Stonehelm to
Thank
meet a
you for
sorcerer
that.
named He and I have certain shared allegiances. Right now, he's looking for an artifact called the Skull of Shadows, for reasons of his own that are doomed to fail. He thinks you're going to help him, the fool. At least not without this.
So
I'm sending you to the free city.
Wait. Sorry, the funny video game. I think we were talking about. What were we talking about? The First Minister of Wales. So as we all know, the United Kingdom is made up of several countries, including Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And each of these independent countries have an independent legislature that's just headed by. Of course, it is a parliamentary system with a First Minister at the head. So of course, London has the Prime Minister, who is not only the head of the English Parliament, but is
EGI2
also
Watcher
the
said that your hair looks better now than it did earlier, and I think it might be the kimono.
I think it's. I think that there's also a dampness in the air because of all the vape smoke, so that might be having some effect on the curls and the waviness of the hair. And
I did a good thing then.
And there he is. What I believe. First Minister Gething is saying is, I hope this very interesting game runs well on my office computer.
That's the translation.
I believe that is the rough translation.
He said office computer, and that was kind of triggering.
Because
I told you before the stream started that I lost my job, and they came and they picked up the monitor.
They picked up the monitor
today, which is what I was gaming on.
Well, it's possible because he's moving into a new office that up
he
there
could have
in
been
Cardiff. I think that's the capital city of Wales, isn't it, Allan? Cardiff. He's moving into his new office in Cardiff, and so he'll probably need a new computer. And maybe the system is that when one computer goes away, it goes to a new person. And so, wouldn't it be nice to think that It
wouldn't be nice to think because it's gone for me, but at the same time, there was a button for Microsoft Teams on it, and that just was kind of cramping my style.
So,
shout out to the unemployed.
Shout out and shout out to congratulations to First Minister Designate Gething. Next in funny video game news, we have, of course, Dark Messiah Might and Magic is in the funny video game news. Allan and Melissa, or Kristin, and Dark Messiah of Might and Magic is in the funny video game news because the president of Peru, Dina Boluarte, says wants to know, can I still
Wait,
find my
Crapmaster
footing
Zach got laid off last
narratively?
Thursday. I got laid off on Friday.
Everyone's getting laid off, including
Everyone's getting laid off,
including the previous president of Peru.
Previous president of Peru.
Who and as a result of that, we have a new president of Peru, Dina Boluarte.
Dina Boluarte is president now.
And she is not only excited to be elevated to that position, and it's a very important thing, the presidency of Peru, because one of the things that the center-right government has been doing in the last few elections has been guarding against the return of the Fujimori political dynasty.
I did hear her say "Estoy muy alegre," so that's a good sign.
Great. Allan, any thoughts?
All politics is local.
Thank you for that, Allan. So Dina, as you can see here, in terms of people that are new to their political offices and people that have recently, or not that recently, I guess 1997 was what, 28 years ago, almost 28 years ago now.
And it's an election year.
And it's an election year now, and so for
28
people that
years ago?
have been defenestrated or people that are newly arrived in positions of political power, Dark Messiah Might and Magic appears to be the choice of the political...
Did you play this?
Yes. You got to kick. So let's open up the phone lines and see what people are saying about funny video game news.
You got to kick. Somebody asked for another song, so you got to kick.
Let's open up the phone lines. I'm sure that people are wanting to talk about.
Allowed to kick.
We have a lot of funny video game news that we've discussed in terms of Dark Messiah Might and Magic, but also in terms of the newsmakers that bring us the funny video game
Can I grab
news.
that last bag of wrap snacks?
Yeah.
It's your show. You've brought us plenty of gifts, including just the simple gift of joy of your presence.
And the shirt.
Caller, you're on the air with EGI2.
That kimono.
What's that?
That kimono is the flyest thing I've ever seen on EGI2.
I'm feeling quite fly. I'm feeling quite I'm feeling quite hoiled. I think they call it hoiled up. When you call your hoilies and you say I'm hoiled up, and then they come and pick you up and you ride in the back seat.
I've never heard that.
Is that like when you, at a Jewish wedding, all the guys pick you up on the chair? I feel like that's what that is.
What is that's called isn't it a challah? Allan?
I think you're confusing that with a sort of bread, a sort of breaking bread with your friends and family.
Right, no. So bread. Yeah, we do the challah. And I won't do the accent, but there's a way to there's not an accent, but it's an inflection, I suppose.
There was a moment on Sex and the City, the original, where they go, okay, you don't have to holla.
Caller, you're on the air with EGI2. What's your funny video game news?
I have a funny. Well, I can. This is it could be one of two funny video game newses. Would you like to hear it about my governor? Oh, this is Cody from Florida, by the way. Hi.
Oh, hey, Cody from Florida. The boys from Cape Coral, troublemakers, riding around town in the dark of night, hunted like criminals for being young and desperate and full of vim and vigor.
Accurate. So I could make this about the regular video, about like my usual funny video game news about Ron DeSantis, or I can go in this Kate Middleton direction.
Kate Middleton direction, interesting. We have been talking about Kate Middleton all evening. I wouldn't mind seeing where that ends up.
And she did pass. She has
passed. So breaking news.
She's gone. Oh, why she's gone.
The princess of Holyrood?
Did she pass away? I thought she just was like missing for a little while.
Yeah, no, she's gone as in gone girl. She's missing.
Gone girl. She's she's off on a mission.
She's not to be found.
She's working with the MI6. She's up there
somewhere. Joe Botnick can confirm. Joe Botnick, can you confirm whether or not Kate Middleton is
Joe, call in and give us a royal update because we're quite concerned.
We do want to hear about the royals.
The father and the the daughter-in-law have passed.
So shout out to Baby Bird Oil, first time chatter.
But Chris Patton.
But this is a
Chris
joke,
Patton
a
has
posthumous joke of funny game news.
Well,
Posthumous.
Cody might have some funny video.
Are you Cody?
Cody?
Yeah.
Do you refer to yourself in the third person now?
No, but you guys seem like we were handing the call over to Joe.
Oh, yeah, back to you, Cody.
But you know who else referred to
Back to
himself in the
Robbie.
third person? Nixon.
Oh, he did. He'd say back to
Every
you,
time?
Nixon. Was that?
Nixon's
back
not
to
a
you,
crook. Nixon ain't no crook.
Yeah, you're not gonna have Nixon to kick around.
I'm so
anymore.
sorry I dropped the chips.
It's okay.
We're referring to Cody in the third person now,
Well, we always do.
and Cody's got funny video.
We
game
always
news
do,
from
Robbie.
Cape Coral,
We
Florida.
never refer to Cody in the first person.
Back to you, Cody.
Whether we'd say back to you, I.
Or
Okay.
back to you,
Me.
back to you, the,
Back to you, me.
The
We were talking
Cape
about
Coral
Cody.
entity known as Cody, formerly known as Cody.
I think.
Accurate. So the first clip on the screen is going to be Advance Wars: Days of Ruin.
Okay.
Like a big old JPEG of Advance War: Days of Ruin, like the cover of it
Follow.
for
I
Nintendo DS.
I see it. Wow.
Hentai.
And it's not like the GBA Advance Wars. It's like a much tougher. It's like a like all the tones, the color tones are darker and more like bland, right?
The splash pages are a lot more naturalistic.
It's quite beautiful. Wow.
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
that.
And so then we have Governor Ron DeSantis,
Oh, I
and
thought we
he
were
says,
I thought we were doing Kate Middleton.
well, we can do that. Too. Well, so okay, so we'll
Here's
go
the
to
thing. I
Prince
will say
William.
it doesn't because
Yeah.
I think that there's a world where you switching out Kate Middleton and Ron DeSantis is quite fluid. If you catch my meaning.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like the talking heads are really interchangeable, and it's not. They really don't have much of a bearing on the funny video game news. If I'm going behind the curtain here.
But Chris Patton.
Robert Pattinson. I think his name is Robert.
So
Played the
so
heron.
Kate Middleton is hanging out with Ron DeSantis, and they're having a conversation. And Ron
there
DeSantis
was an
says,
alleged affair. Did you hear about that, Cody?
With Ron DeSantis.
Well,
with
I
the
don't know
governor.
who was involved in the affair, but now that he's throwing Ron DeSantis, and that may have been the name that was
We're
missing
talking
from the
about
link.
Advance
oh my
Wars Days
God,
of Ruin. I'm
she
locked
flew
in.
over to Florida. She's having an extended vacation in Florida with Ron DeSantis.
Oh my God!
Wow. Wow, this is quite. I'm gonna hit the breaking news button. This is interesting.
And together they're working together to summon tanks.
And we together as a community, we're building the EGI show together.
So Ron DeSantis says, I prefer the more grim, dark art style of Advance Wars Days of Ruin, to which Kate Middleton replies, I prefer the cartoony, lighthearted take on warfare. And Ron DeSantis replies, well, that's where we'll have to agree to disagree, m'lady.
Because he used to work at Guantanamo.
And was he
That's
tipping
funny
a
that you-
fedora or a top hat when he said "milady"? Or a
Oh.
newsboy
Oh,
hat?
Ron DeSantis is definitely a fedora fella.
Not?
With the feather. Yeah.
Cody, that's funny video game news.
Wow.
Sorry,
I'll
the
take my
button's still not-
thank
we still
you,
haven't
thank
found
you,
the old,
thank you, Kristin, thank you, Robbie, thank you, Allan.
Thank you, Cody.
Thank
Back
you for
to
the wonderful
Cody.
call.
Back
Back
to
to
you,
you.
Kristin. Back to you, Allan. We
Back
have
to
another
you.
caller
Back
on
to
the,
you,
on the
me,
line.
referring to Cody in the first person.
Exactly. We refer to me as Cody. Wait, I'm Cody?
No, you would say Robbie. You'd say me. You'd say
I'm me.
No, you're.
I'm Peter Molyneux. Wait, no, I'm Zachary from Houston.
Zachary from Houston. Lovely to hear someone representing the great state of Texas.
A lot of Southern callers tonight.
We have a very southern fan base.
Entirely in the
Most of
chat,
our fans are
almost.
in the south,
Big
and then we have one fan
percentage,
in the UK.
I don't think of Houston. I mean, I suppose
Well, London's part of Houston.
London's part of Houston.
Oh, I didn't know.
London,
A sister city.
Houston, London, chopped
I've
and
been to at least one
screwed.
pub with one of those, what do you call those towers? The people-sized towers that are red, and you you exchange information in them with other people who are standing in the towers.
Huh. I'm not quite sure I know what the hell you're talking
A
about.
phone booth?
A bone broth? A bone booth?
broth. What?
A phone booth.
Zachary, what the hell are you talking about?
I think this is a Doctor Who
I'm
fan.
trying to talk about the crossover.
And I don't know
with
anything
London
about
and
that.
Zachary from Houston, do you have funny video game news or what?
I do. But I wanted to do my funny video game news with some character work. Do you want me to be Peter Molyneux or Zachary from Houston?
Zachary, can you, man,
What?
that's a tough one. I would love to hear his thoughts. Both of your
I'll
thoughts.
just be Zachary from Houston. I'll just tell my funny video game news and save the character work for later. Maybe I'll freaking prank you guys.
Please,
Hey, watch
do
it.
not prank anyone who's listening.
I'm not pranking you now. I'm not
including
pranking. I
you.
wouldn't prank. I can't.
Do not prank the show.
I didn't even. I'm not.
Is it a prank if you're,
somebody that
developing a character and finding some, working some
Kristin,
inner things
thank
out
you.
and just.
Thank you, Kristin.
Well, that's why I'm just like, maybe be yourself now and then call back later, but, doing the work, not, it's not a prank. You don't have to call it a prank. It's just like you're exploring a subdivision of yourself and just getting to know yourself more and using EGI2 as a platform, and I think that's fine. That's what it's for.
And of course, we do see pranks as a type of as a stepping stone into wanton criminality.
Well,
We know, looking over yonder at EGI2 special correspondent Allan Resnick, the mere mention of criminality is widening. His eyes are dilating with the anger of 1,000 guns.
Simply prank somebody, okay? That's leading to like a soul-lit level of conceptual art and activism, embodiment, and all sorts of cognitive measures.
Yeah, well, you better call Saul if criminal killer Allan comes after you.
I'm Zachary from Houston. You want funny video game news? Zachary from Houston. It doesn't have any of the games that you mentioned tonight, or even Fujimori or anybody.
Kiko Fujimori is the current head of that party
Excuse me.
in Peru.
Her
father Alberto is still.
Was that the one that fled away and sent a fax to resign?
Yes. No, Kiko's still there. She's run for president several times.
SimCity 2000 Urban Renewal Kit.
Okay,
that's
is in the
first
video game,
slide.
funny video game.
SimCity 2000 Urban Renewal Kit. That's the first slide. And then then the next slide would be a photograph of Michael Gove. You know Michael Gove, right?
Oh,
Explain Michael
Joker.
Gove to our guests.
Okay.
Yogurt? Okay. Michael Gove overlaid of the SimCity 2000 Urban Renewal Kit, the expansion pack for the base SimCity 2000 game. You can't play that tool without having SimCity 2000. Anyway, Michael Gove is in that next slide, and then the text says, Mayor John Whitmire of Houston, Texas, the Ronald Reagan with a D mayor of the oilplex or whatever you want to call this, the Exxon company town, whatever you want to call this. As he's
Piss rated 118.
We're almost to the end of the funny video game news.
He's ripping out the bike lanes off Houston Avenue. He's getting rid of pedestrian protections. He's caving into the businesses, and he says he's with Michael Gove, and he leans
Zachary,
over and he
switch
says,
to the
"This is my
character."
exit." Huh?
Switch to the character.
Switch to Peter Molyneux.
I've got an exciting game for you. I'm Peter Molyneux. This game is a game where you don't use controls like your hands. You don't have a tiny plus sign on the screen that tells you where to click. In fact, you don't click at all. You control the game with your voice. You see, it's a whole separate joke, and I don't want to do the joke. I gotta finish
That was
this one out.
so good, though.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. That's funny video game news. Zachary, you got it. Zachary from Houston. We have another caller online.
Well,
Congratulations, Robbie. I urge you, now that we have the piss raid, I urge you to stop doing funny video game news. It doesn't play. They don't enjoy it in the chat. So move on to something. Do something interesting. Do something sort of sexy and cool, because We have guests
Well,
from Piss.
when I rehearse and I try to be sexy and cool, my pants fall down, and then I try to lean over, and then I tip over on myself, and I roll over, and I smash into my floor-length mirror, and I can't do that. I have to. Improvisation is the only arena in which I can, actually do a little tiny bit of productive artistic work, Allan. So. Back to you. I appreciate
Thank you. You did great. I was more referring to Robbie, telling Robbie to do something in sexy and cool. I would never ask the callers to be sexy. I would just never do that. But thank you for your call, and thank you for your humor. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan, and thank you for that, because now that we've gotten through the funny video game news, we do have a very special report from Allan Resnick coming up now. So we're not taking calls. Allan's going to do a special report.
Wow.
Very excited about this special report this evening, because this has been a long time coming that we have Allan Resnick doing a special report on this particular game, which I do believe has been largely lost.
That's right.
To the annals of time.
That's right. If you're just joining us, and thank you for first-time chatters from Piss, I do special reports, and Robbie has assigned me a special report on a game called Virtua Fighter. It's hard to say that. Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter, and I'm going to be doing my special report.
Virtua Fighter RPG.
RPG, yes. Okay. As we reminisce about the evolution of gaming, one title that's often overlooked is Virtua Fighter RPG. And then I have images that accompany this, so we'll just show this image. Okay.
What year is this?
What year is this?
It's 2024.
Oh, yeah. Developed by a little-known studio called Pixel Dynamics and released in 2001, actually. Virtua Fighter is a modest attempt at 2D fighting game with revolutionary 3D a 2D fighting game with revolutionary 3D graphics. That's interesting. And it was okay. Here's where it gets interesting. This is actually okay. So I got more images here. Okay, let me just show some of these images. Okay, so this is these are sort of the characters and sort of images from it. Okay. During the late 1980s, Sega AN4 division experimented with a series of text-based adventure games, not quite envisioning the trajectory that would lead to Virtua Fighter. With limited resources and lack of direction, the team stumbled upon an idea of a fighting game purely by accident, so that's kind of interesting.
And of course, AM4 is part of the great AM series of in-house. What?
Okay. Upon its release, Virtua Fighter received lukewarm reception from critics and players alike, with many deriding its clunky controls and dated graphics. That's kind of interesting. Its stiff animation failed to capture the imagination of gamers, who were more enamored with the flashy visuals of competitors like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Set in a dystopian future, where humanity has colonized the moon. That's quite interesting. Virtua Fighter RPG plunges players into a gripping tale of intergalactic intrigue.
They're on the moon.
And they're on the moon.
And the little boy can become he gets to install Virtua Fighter characters.
The little boy.
But
oh yeah, there's the little boy. Okay. You play as a member of an elite fighting force known as the Lunar Guardians. That's cool. Players must navigate treacherous political landscape. You like that, Robbie? That's for you, politics. And
Someone asked the little boy is Robbie, and
that's quite
Robbie's
cool.
a tall man.
The little boy is he's sort of an embodiment of the character, the player character, the person through which we are viewing the story.
See, this also looks like a Sons of the Forest crossover. I don't know if anybody's playing that.
And I wanted to say, Allan, that this doesn't appear to be any Virtua Fighter characters. I have not seen a single one recognizable, and this clearly is not.
You do always want to see Chun-Li.
I have her.
Chun-Li is a Street Fighter character.
I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
Soul Calibur. We do love Ivy. We do love Chun-Li. Unfortunately, they are not Virtua Fighter characters, because the Virtua Fighter characters in Virtua Fighter RPG are what sets the Virtua Fighter RPG away from other RPGs. None of these, not one, neither of those are one. No.
I'm quite sure.
Definitely not.
Sorry, there's a lot of reflections. Oh, I think you're getting confused because it's reflecting.
Ivy is fappable. Oh.
Oh, here we go. There, this is one.
Does he have a name?
Yes, I'm sure.
I think you mean fallible. I believe
Anyways,
that of course Ivy's fallible. She's human, just like the rest of us.
Far from its arcade roots, Virtua Fighter RPG introduces revolutionary turn-based combat. That's the RPG, reminiscent of classic JRPGs. Players assemble a team of martial artists and different characters, each with their own unique ability and fighting styles. That makes sense. With strategic positioning and resource management, and you get to do devastating combos. Powered by the cutting edge Moonstone engine. Have you ever heard of that? The cutting-edge Moonstone engine, Virtua Fighter RPG delivers stunning visuals that transport the player to a futuristic landscape of lunar colonies. In addition to the visual splendor, the game features dynamic day-night cycles that affect the gameplay with an added extra layer of realism. With an innovative gameplay, Virtua Fighter RPG promises to be a groundbreaking addition to any RPG genre game collection. By blending its fast-paced action, Virtua Fighter, with the depth and complexity of traditional RPGs, the game offers a fresh and exciting experience to captivate you for hours. Despite its lackluster performance, Virtua Fighter has managed to secure. Where am I? Sorry, I lost my place. A place in home consoles where it languishes in obscurity alongside other forgettable titles of the era.
Such as?
Just other games. In attempts to breathe new life into this franchise and spin-offs has met with similar indifference, leading to Sega to quietly abandon the series altogether. So we can just go look at some of these images. That's one of the characters. I forget what his name is. This is the fighting part of the game. You can see the spiky hairs and the fights, and there they go.
The spiky hairs and the fights.
So, of course, Kristin Wallace, Virtua Fighter RPG is not known for being one of the greatest RPGs on the planet, but it is known for its use of turn-based combat while using the Virtua Fighter characters and fighting moves that we've all grown to know from the arcade games over the years.
So that's turn-based, what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think you just
kind of. So they do one kick, and then the other person has to input their.
Maybe we can turn the lights off.
And as somebody who has never been very good at fighting games, every once in a while I would walk into an arcade where people would be playing Virtua Fighter or Virtua Fighter 2 or Virtua Fighter 3, and I would just be watching these absolute masters of the craft of
Someone
gameplay.
asked if this is hentai, and it's so close, but not quite.
No, hentai is cool stuff that cool people wear to parties, and they put on hats, and then they vape and they say hentai, and then they high five.
They say hentai.
So of course, being someone who's not very good at Virtua Fighter games, I enjoyed the simple existence of a game that took the fighting styles from these Virtua Fighters and hentai to you and hentai to everybody out there in the audience and in the chat, and hentai to you and your families and all of your loved ones. So let's open the phones to see what people are saying about Virtua Fighter RPG. Obviously, this has been a bit of a disappointment for everybody who is looking forward to learning more about Virtua Fighter RPG. It's quite simple to just type in the names of things into the Google search engine and have them bring to you images of the thing that you were looking for.
I did.
And so it's quite impressive that someone could spend so much time on the computer as EGI Special Correspondent Allan Resnick.
That's how I did the research.
And not have a single image from the game, or
what are you talking
even a mention of any of the fighters.
I did a deep dive. I did an entire. Robbie, are you calling me a liar?
Caller, you're on the air with EGI2, twitch.tv/EGI_2. It's the name that's so nice that you say it twice.
Thank you. Back to you, back to me, back to all of us.
Back to all of us.
Big video game interviews happening right now. What's all of you guys' favorite Pokemon? Back to you guys.
Kristin Wallace, I believe that seems to be quite queued up for you, if I were to make a guess.
It's a very difficult question to be asked. I feel like it's more fair to ask per generation. But speaking of per, I did name one of my cats Esper, even though I did not play X and Y. So I think design-wise, Esper, but like in my heart, Soul of Souls, maybe Typhlosion.
Back to you guys. Back to me. My cat right here. Her name's Mimikyu. She's evil and she's.
You have a
she's
cat
very
named
violent.
Mimikyu?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Alan, you've got Pokemon on the brain, don't you?
Yes, I have Pokemon fever. I've been bit by the Pokemon bug, and I think about it all day and all night, and I'm obsessed. And my favorite character, I think if I had to pick out of all the characters, my favorite one would be that little yellow one, that zaps.
The little yellow one that zaps, I think his name is Hentai.
I'll have to check on that.
There's so many
back to
little
you
yellow
guys.
ones
I
that
think you
zap
mean,
now.
Pichu.
Oh, okay, so
I think you mean Pichu or Minun.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
It's called a Pikachu. It's called a Pikachu Pokemon that I
Now,
do
I'm-
love.
I'm
And I know
not,
about it.
I'm not much of a Pokemon player. I do enjoy Pokemon Snap a great deal. I love riding around on the rails and taking pictures of those little buggers in their natural habitats, looking at each other and the communion.
If you're joining us from PIS, please subscribe to the follow and subscribe because we don't have enough people who watch this, and a tremendous amount of work goes into it, and nobody watches it. So please, we beg you.
Now, Virtual Fighter. If this wants to know if Virtual Fighter RPG wasn't that just Shenmue? No, the Shenmue was Shenmue, and Virtual Fighter RPG was a GameCube game, exclusive in the West. Gee, I sure Alan. Mossylump says, "Gee, I hope this is the part where we read the chat. Gee, I sure hope Alan isn't eroding our already tenuous grasp on shared reality by generating fake Virtual Fighter screenshots." Alan, any care to respond to the accusation?
I don't like being accused of things. I don't like when Robbie calls me a liar. I don't like when Mossylump calls me a liar. Please have faith. I feel like I've earned some trust on the show. I've worked hard on the show. I've done a lot of free labor for the show, and I think I deserve this much trust from the audience, from Robbie, from the guest. I just don't want to be questioned for the things I say or do, and I don't need to take this because I'm not a liar, and don't call me a liar.
And don't forget that we aren't doing pranks, and if you do pranks are crimes, and you will activate the crime killer, the criminal killer inside of Allan Resnick that is warning us with the sheer amount of the radiating hatred that is coming off his body at all times, whether he is at home at night looking at the ceilings, multiple ceilings in his house because he's got the cantilevered kind of, you know what I'm talking about.
The candelabra?
Candelabras.
As I came into the studio, he was putting on a fresh flannel.
Fresh flannel. They call him Fresh Flannel Resnick for a reason.
Well, I was just like, is he changing why? Does he have something
blood,
to hide?
Not his blood, because he hasn't gone on. The gush has not erupted.
If you ever see blood on me, it's never my blood. It's always the blood of the person who was punished.
Robbie, they're begging you to say your favorite
punched so
Pokemon.
far?
My favorite Pokemon is Battle Arena Toshinden.
That's not a single Pokemon.
Thank you for your call, caller. You're on the air. Hentai to you, and back to you, Hentai. Next up, we have a caller on the air, a special caller for this EGI2 Stream 14 caller. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what makes you special?
This is Alex from California. What's the question?
I'm wanting to know what's special about you, Zach. And we all have one or two things that makes us slightly different from the other person. Kristin here is a alcoholic.
I see. I guess what makes me
and
special.
Allan is a crime fighter.
Oh yeah, he's a Gush. Actually, that should be Allan's nickname, the Gush. Everyone has already declared him in chat.
So, sorry, Kristin, if you haven't already heard, there is a violence inside of Allan that has been boiling for ever since we started twitch.tv/EGI_2. And his hatred of criminality is what is the fire underneath the boiling, and the thing that is boiling is the violence. And when the violence comes out, it's going to be a gush that wipes the crimes and the sin off of the streets. And
this is why I believe in boy period, because this just sounds like boy period.
Well, sometimes
on this show we call it the Gush.
Yeah, we call it the Gush.
Yeah, we call it the Gush too.
But as far as I know, I don't see Kristin Wallace outside on the street taking down criminals one by one with her bare hands, tying them to the backs of
Because I don't get caught.
tying them to the backs of cars, dragging them through the streets until their skin comes off, and
Because I wouldn't tell anyone.
putting tires around their necks and then setting the tires on fire.
I do all of that times 5. I just don't talk about it.
I think there's a whole community of us who.
This is why Allan is
crime.
using his gush productively, because he's taking that energy and just going after the criminals that are out there, just ruining people's lives or perhaps their own.
Yep.
And just putting an end to it.
But if you take
that energy,
Zach, if you take one look at the man, though, you got to say to yourself, when it comes out, who else is it going to hit? Who else is going to get splashed?
Someone asked what ICP stands for, and Insane Clown Posse. I don't know.
But I believe that, like, you know, if Allan can be the gush, I think it's anyone can. It's up to you whether you want to put an end to the crimes and just, you know, put that energy in the right place.
Caller,
caller,
hold on, caller. I have a question for you. Hold on, caller. Look at my ear. Have you noticed how red my ear's gotten? It gets quite much hotter than the rest of my body. It gets quite it's like if you put a thermometer on my ear, you'll notice it's about 20 degrees hotter than the rest of me. That's usually a sign that I am quite getting ready to burst.
Yeah, I was about to ask if, like,
he's thinking about muggers. He's thinking about.
I mean, you're in LA, so I imagine there's a lot going on.
Oh, there's muggings. There's people that smash bottles on walls. There's tire slashers. There's the crazies that run around with the sticks of dynamite and toss the sticks of dynamite into oncoming
bank robbers. I've seen
freight trains.
The LA clown scene.
The LA clown scene is wild. Perverts just going at each other day in, day out, and then
people who aren't from LA don't
together.
know that in LA there's a group of clowns, kind of not insane clowns, because I don't think they're insane clowns, but they're perverted. They're sort of sexual perverted clowns, and they do sort of
not to be confused.
I want to say something. I want to say something. I want to say something. Zach, hold a goddamn second. I want to say I had a joke. This is a very important joke.
Let's hear him out.
Kristin said someone wanted to know what ICP stood for, and I didn't have it. I didn't have it ready. I didn't have it in the chamber. And what I was gonna, if I was a younger man, if I was quicker on the draw, I would have said ICP stands for Interesting Colony Wars Projects.
What about the W?
It's a lowercase. Lowercase wars.
Caller,
you know we love the Colony Wars games, the Colony Wars trilogy of games.
Colony Wars, oh yeah, that game is pretty cool. I need to play it more.
So then you get the joke.
Yeah, I'd say that's funny video game news, man.
100 biddies from Jovial Jellyfish.
Thank you so much.
And somebody gifted a sub to Insane Clown Posse.
Wow,
Thank you
Insane
so
Clown
much.
Posse
Wow.
is giving up.
Wow.
What? Did Insane? If you just mention Insane Clown Posse on Twitch, that
they show up in the chat.
They show up in the chat apparently, and there you go.
Thank you, Insane Clown Posse, for being a fan of EGI 2 and following us and being in the chat. Now you have a sub.
And now I've gone and put ourselves in danger, the entire EGI2 family in danger by refusing to name the acronym properly. But I will stand by it.
They know you're just joking.
I stand by it's not ICP.
The clowns are a down-ass community. Not the LA clown scene, the Insane Clown Posse.
I want to see the Colony Wars community come together in the same way that the Juggalos and the Juggalettes have come together in their annual gatherings and their bacchanalias. I want to see people with PS1, the littler PS1 units with the little flip screen. I want to see them gathering together once a year.
The gathering.
In airports, in empty airports with high ceilings, hooking link cables for. I believe Colony Wars Red Sun had link cable co-op play. Could be wrong about that. And after that, they get drunk on the power of on the power of friendship and nothing else.
Hey man, I would love to see that.
Zach, did you have a question?
Dog Teeth subscribed.
Thank you for subbing. If enough people subscribe, they'll start a hype train. Sorry,
I did have plenty of video game news, but you're gonna need to give me a moment. Here.
Okay.
But I guess I'll establish what the funny video game news is. So picture back. In the year 2000, Lost Toys, one of the spin-off companies of Bullfrog, made this game called Ball
Toy
Breakers,
Commander
or Moho. So yeah, this just imagine like a picture of that, and then around that time, you got the Bolivian. Well, he was yet to be president, but he was the leader of their socialist party. What's his name? Evo Morales plays Ball Breaker. He's like, this is a game full of action, full of just kind of repeating and repeating,
no, wait,
getting the gold medal.
Punchline!
Hold on for a second. We're talking about Evo Morales. We're talking about the former president of a major Central South American country. Yeah.
So he plays Ball Breaker. He's like, yeah, this is a game I'd love to keep playing, and hope it doesn't mess me up in the next 10 years that I played it too much. And well, I mean, fast forward to 10 years later, he would injure a soccer opponent in the groin. So yeah, that's where the funny video game is at.
Is it over?
And of course, Evo Morales was the first president of native ancestry of.
Thank you for your call. Don't stay on the line. We don't know how to hang up on the call.
Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, caller, and don't forget to hentai. We have another call on the air right now. What was Allan? What Evo Morales' home country?
Evo Morales, I think she hosts the movie trivia in front of movies.
Caller, you're on the air with EGI, twitch.tv/EGI_2. What's your response to the Virtua Fighter RPG special report? We aren't doing funny video game news, although I will give a funny video game news bump to the mere mention of Evo Morales.
I don't think that was Virtual Fighter Quest. I don't think that was Virtual Fighter RPG.
Ooh.
I did it. I didn't double check it.
That was, I don't know what that was. Was that AI generated content?
It's on me, caller. That's not Allan's fault. It's my fault.
It kind of looked like a screenshot from Sons of the Forest.
Wait, what happened?
Goodness gracious, I can't believe it.
What happened?
I mean, I saw the text.
Oh, it's called Newbie.
Did you see the corner? Can we go back to the slides of that game? Can we do that? Can we pull those back up?
Wait, my game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, I closed it.
Because I want to point some stuff out. The corners of the arena.
This game? What about it? Oh, hold on. Why
I texted Allan at the beginning of the weekend and I said Virtua Fighter RPG, but Virtua Fighter RPG doesn't exist.
Oh, wait. What are you talking about? Oh, it's not.
The alleged Virtua Fighter game in question here.
Virtua Fighter RPG is Shenmue, and I'm Kristin, Wallace. You were here for a.
You invited me on a show that's. That's not
properly.
I've not presenting.
My camera, no opacity.
I could barely remember the president of where Evo Morales was president. It was Bolivia, by the way. Oh, good.
Let's look at the character names. Let's look at the character names and the timers. Now I want to see I want to see stuff with the numbers and the text in it. I want to see the stuff with the
Wait, I just need both of you to know this is incredibly offensive. But before you all started streaming tonight, I shared with you that I was about to start streaming. Now you're associating me with AI-generated, not real video games that you didn't have the time to fact check before I started associating myself with EGI too.
Doesn't matter, Kristin. It
doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Because Virtua Fighter RPG doesn't exist. If I had given him,
I looked it up. I looked it up.
Look at that. What is that?
Everybody,
what language
on your
is
hands.
Okay.
See,
well, that's
just guys, but their arms are facing the wrong direction.
No.
It's my fault.
This is devastating.
It's devastating to me. It's devastating to the people of Bolivia who cannot even enjoy their former president giving a funny video game news treatment because I was lazy when I sent Allan's assignment to him.
These are not. Robbie, you told me you did it, and I looked it up.
There's a gray area, Allan. There's a gray area between telling truth.
Well, that's beautiful. That one's nice.
There's a gray area between telling truth and telling lies, Allan. And you're in the gray area.
Game. It was a very good game and fun to play. Back to you, Robbie.
Huh. I mean, I just wish that it was the real. What the fuck? I'm Allan. I'm Allan Resnick.
Oh wow.
Allan's not lying. Everybody's saying Allan's lying in the chat. Allan is not lying. Allan is, unfortunately, in the gray area.
Back to you, Robbie.
Al, let me tell you, Robbie, let me tell you something, Robbie. I'm Allan I'm Allan Resnick.
Can we hang up on calls now? Okay, we figured that out. Great.
This is not going well. Kristin, I'm baffled. I'm embarrassed.
I can't believe that
you're one of the few people that has actually come to the show that has worked in the industry. You're a veteran of the industry, in the same way that many of our greatest fathers were veterans of that terrible war, the Vietnam War, from which they came back shell-shocked and wounded. And
which is why would you let the veterans put their lives on the line
for this?
You to just lie about a video game existing and then invite me on the show and associate me with that?
I was thinking of Maria Menounos. She hosts the Newbie, not Movie. I was confused. Back to you, Rob.
Back to you, Allan. And what my gift to the audience for this terrible loss that we're all experiencing right now is a Steam Key giveaway.
Oh, that's good.
So do we have the Steam Key giveaway?
Are people still watching?
We have a thing that says Steam. There it is. Steam Key giveaway.
Let me go back. Oh, people are still watching.
Great. First up on the Steam Key giveaway, let's open up the phone lines for the Steam Key giveaway. This is a game I have a Steam Key for and I won't ever play. And so we're giving it away free here live on twitch.tv/EDI_2. It's obviously
It's like a snow game.
It's like a snow game. It's like a party game. It's like people that party love to party in the snow. When you do, it's said at times that to do the snow is
not to be confused with the late great 1080 from Nintendo 64.
I don't believe if it's still on. If you play it right now on the Nintendo Switch, but what you can't play on the Nintendo Switch, as far as I know, is called a little game called Snowtopia, which is our first Steam Key giveaway of the evening.
This is a real video game. I can confirm.
This is a real video game. This isn't some AI generated garbage. It is in fact human generated of questionable quality. And it is a free video game in which you build a snow ski resort and people come and ride the lifts and stay in the hotels and drink coffee and
this is the show giving back.
And this is the show giving back
because
to
you
the
give
audience.
so much. The audience gives so much.
Wants this real bad.
This is a real game. It has value. It has real tangible, current legal tender value. And you've given us so much with the bits and bytes and all your subs, and I guess there's a what's that website? There's a Patreon, and now we're giving back. There's a Patreon, and now we're giving back.
But it's important. It is also important to sub because sub helps with discoverability, helps grow the family, and hopefully Steam Key giveaways are part of that too.
So tell everyone else go on other channels right now and say they're giving away games for free. They're giving away games. Go to EGI2 and watch it and sub and maybe you'll get a game because then people think they could they could actually win this game, even though this game clearly doesn't look very fun or good. But
No,
they could win
this
it, and it has value.
This person in
it
the
has
chat,
value.
Cinnamina, wants nothing more than to have
Okay,
that game.
this one's
is
for you, Cinnamina.
So everyone,
Don't do it.
Don't touch your goddamn keyboards. Don't look at the screen. Just listen.
Just listen.
Just listen for the sound of joy coming from Cinnamina.
Cinnamina, you pay attention and you listen.
This
and
is
you
your
write,
Steam
you quickly
key,
type this in as we
Cinnamina.
say it. And it's going to be hard to hear it because we're going to say it at the same time. And Kristin, NG.
It could be a 1. Could be a 1. Could be NG1 or NGI.
Kristin,
uppercase
you
I.
can join in.
45 dash
2058
M
MERZ
C. Merzik.
So just Cinnamina, that's for you. Enjoy
so
that. Enjoy that.
The last
that's what you get.
MERZC. If you flip the Z and the C, then it would be Mercs. Which, of course, ominously, when we're talking about the Vietnam War.
I don't have a child, but that's not a bad name.
Mercs?
Mercs.
I guess.
Hey,
if
Mercs.
you wanted to raise
Come here, Mercs.
Get down, Mercs.
You wanted to raise
Hey.
Stop. Mercs.
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 I think of Mercs, I think of...
5. Mercs. 4.
Wait, they're all called Mercs.
3. No, I'm talking to...
Mercs 1,
I'm counting
Mercs 2,
down.
Mercs 3, Mercs 4.
Hold on.
She got it.
Cinnamina got it. Yay! That's great.
I don't mean to gender
Please
Cinnamina,
give
I
bits
just
and bytes
assume
to
it's
us,
Mina,
please.
then that makes
Subscribe
me
and
think of
follow us
Mina
now.
Harker from Dracula, and therefore I make the assumption. Next up on the video, what the hell is the show called? EGI2's Steam Key Giveaway. Next up is this game.
The rap snacks are so good.
There's more in that box.
There are?
Yes.
It's so
They're not ours to give
flavorful.
away. They're loots, but you can have them.
He would want
It's
me
one
to
of
have
these
them.
games. It's a game
well,
where
yes,
there's
you know.
bloom lighting on watercolory kind of character designs and aesthetics, plant, people, eyeballs, and hexagons. So wake the spirit and save the. Wake them up.
Oh, it's a board game.
Wake them up and play a board game in a tactical roguelike
I've
called.
played this.
In a tactical roguelike, we haven't seen a lot of hexagonal tactical
Is it called
games
Carcassonne?
recently on twitch.tv/EGI_2. But this is one of them, and we're giving it away for free thanks to everybody who's enjoyed the shows and everybody who's brought new people to the family
Thank you
that
so
they
much.
can enjoy the communion and fellowship of the EGI2 family. It's one of these types of games we're giving away free tonight to a lucky colorful Oaken.
A lucky colorful Oaken.
So it's an Oaken kind of game. Oaken, of course, is a it's a low poly, high color, big eyeball kind of game where everybody's kind of flowery people and there's nothing.
Oh, thank you, Moob.
Kind of game.
Yeah, it's a big eyeball kind of game. What are you talking about?
Thank you, Moob, friend of the show.
So if you like animals,
for subbing for 5 months. Wow, thank you, Moob.
If you ever think that I wish I had no pupils and just lights dug into my head, then this could be the game for you.
What do you mean? No pupils and just lights?
Well, you see the main character in the game doesn't have any. She's just a light. It's just a light person. I mean, it's a little.
You have a light. You have a light.
Kind of a little Ricky.
Robbie, you do have a light.
Biddies from Isaac does his best.
40. What does that mean?
45 heart biddies.
What does that mean?
He loves you.
I love Isaac Does Best.
And the Steam key. Who wants this game?
And who wants this game? Because I don't want to play this game. I've got too many games that I'm trying to play. I haven't even finished Resident Evil 3 yet. I was supposed to finish it last week on the stream, and I haven't got around to it because I've switched computers.
I love you.
I love you. I love you, Kristin Wallace.
I love you, Robbie.
I love you, Allan Resnick. I love you, James Trevor. I love everybody out there, and that's why we're giving out the Steam keys.
Hold on, Robbie. I have something I want to say.
Okay.
Never mind.
All right. Oaken's Steam key is as follows: N24.
N24.
3V.
3V.
What does NV remind me of? NV.
Nirvana.
No, not
NVIDIA.
Nirvana.
NVIDIA.
What is it?
NVIDIA.
New Vegas. New Vegas. NV. No, I was thinking. Well, maybe not. GB683-THEC2. So if you're the kind of person who likes pressed fairy books, then this could be the kind of thing that you like too. We all remember those disgusting little giant-headed fairies in the middle that were crushed by the books. You open up the book, and there they are staring at you with their flat heads and their crazy eyes.
Mr. Mammal gifted Mr. or something.
Thank you, everybody.
People are saying they didn't pay attention.
The hype train will come back, and Robbie will have to continue that story. I don't even remember what it was about.
It was about a little mouse boy who had sex with a giant bird, and they made another creature that was then causing a lot of trouble, or potentially. And Oaken is, if you're following along with a lot of we do have a lot of stories where the little Rickies come out and they play around in the woods and they have their little mischief and they go on their little explorations with each other.
I want the code real bad again.
It's NT43VGB. That's easy to remember because Game Boy. 683. That's easy to remember because if you add 2 to 6, it's 8, and then if you take 5 away from 8, it's 3.
Yep.
And then T8EC2.
Say it again, last part.
T8EC2.
EC2.
But I can't stop focusing on the
remember.
NV at the beginning of Oaken's Steam key, and now I'm focusing on the T2, Terminator 2.
T2 Terminator 2, of
Judgment
course.
Day.
So that is easy to remember.
So Judgment Day could be coming for criminals if Allan's gush were to erupt.
Let's check. No, I think we're good. The temperature. Oh no, they're going back up.
And that's boy. Period.
What? After
Gush.
next up is Solstice. The name of the game is called Solstice. It's our 3rd Steam key giveaway.
Rated M for mature.
Oh, it's a touching. It's obviously it's a feeling kind of game. It's about people are having their emotions at each other. Wild stuff occurs when the falling happens. You
wow,
say,
that's really cool.
Wow, beginning of the game. You fall and you jump and you row. So it's got falling from God of War. It's got the rowing from Hellblade. And it's got the beam of light going into a vortex of clouds, like Devil May Cry, DMC Devil May Cry.
That big Final Fantasy sword in there.
And if you like DMC Devil May Cry, you might like Solstice.
Oh, what's that?
Because it's kind of a hack and slash, gross monster kind of game. Party people love this kind of game because you can bring it up at parties and people will give you hentai.
Wow,
and enjoy the fellowship of the party and the solstice of the summer solstice, or whether it's the summer solstice or the winter solstice or any of the other solstices. Solstice with the SOUL is here to stay because nobody's taking.
No, it looks like that thing that women get to stop having periods.
It's a solstice?
No, the sword. It looks like a little
silly IUD.
And yes.
An IUD is what they used. Is what the Satter army used for destroying the tank treads and blowing up Humvees in the Iraq War.
I believe it because I've had 2 removed and I'm never going to get a 3rd one. It's like getting an ear piercing on your cervix. It is wrong.
That's so hentai. So obviously, this is a party kind of game for people that called Solstice. It's for people who love IUDs and hentais and vaping. So if you love any of those 3 games or any of those 3 subjects, cultural flashpoints, milestones, then this could be for you.
I don't think anybody wants the game.
It's HN.
8
LA. It could be LA, Los Angeles.
Hentai Los Angeles. That's like right here. That's like us. We're in LA. We love hentai.
Hen 8. What is Hen 8?
Hen 8.
Hen 8. HN 8. Hen 8 LA.
HN 8.
Hen 8. Hey Nate.
Hey Nate.
Hey Nate.
Hey Nate.
Hey Nate. Hey Nate.
Hey Nate.
There we go. See, that's why it's good to have a writer in the house with you. Okay. What? Q-Tib. QTIB2. So that's Q-Tib, the famous rapper Q-Tib2.
Yeah, who I didn't realize is in Groove is in the Heart.
You know, the Groove is in the Heart woman lived in Tallahassee for a time. And she dated somebody who was in the P-Funk army. And of course, George Clinton lives near Tallahassee, and I went to high school with George Clinton's granddaughter. And she used to invite kids from our high school up to go to her granddad's house in Jefferson County, and I was never invited. so I didn't.
You.
But a lot of those
they're
kids,
lost,
but,
Robbie. They're
but
lost.
they're lost because many of them turned into cocaine dealers, and
I was gonna say good for you.
they
Yeah,
all
you kind of dodged a little bit of a bullet there.
exactly. They had their fun, and they ate their pie, and then their pie turned into the police, and then the police took them to jail. So QTIB2-MYG8A.
MYG8A. A for Allan.
Oh yeah, A for Allan, and G8 for the group of 8, which is actually now the G7 since Russia has been
and
defenestrated.
G8 for great rap snack. This is this Rick Ross.
And I said,
Q-tip be my Game Boy 8, Allan.
Q-tip HN8LA.
Hentai LA. Q-tip 2.
MYG8A.
My great Allan. My great Allan.
My great Allan. But there's 2 more characters now.
And I don't know. I just want to point something out, which is that when I said that Russia had been defenestrated from the group of 8 countries.
Did you say Russia? Robbie? You said
it was the Russia? And then they said it was G7. I said defenestrated, which is what they do in Russia.
Joe Rodnick got Solstice.
Rodnick got Solstice. It's a 5 out of 10 game. I've heard it's not that fun, but it's a free game. You just got on twitch.tv/EGI_2.
It's a snowboarding game.
And it's a snowboarding game. So if you love going down hills and breaking break beats and it's a rhythm kind of game.
I love Rock Band 2. I love Rock Band 2 so much.
Go off on that.
Go off.
It just like brought me and like the girls together in 8th and 9th grade, and just like so many songs. Like, in what other world would I be listening to "Shoot the Runner" by Kasabian and "Down with the Sickness"? I had heard before from watching the Dawn of the Dead.
Allan, are any of the words that she's saying making any sense to you?
I think so. I think she's saying she played a rhythm game with her friends in high school, maybe.
Yeah, with all and they were a richer family, so they had every instrument.
Oh, and so what? So you could play guitar, drum. What instrument
I
did
actually
you play?
went for drum or vox.
Oh, interesting. So you sing into a little box, and there's like maybe a meter on screen about how good you do.
That's what you get when you let your heart win.
Sometimes late at night I look at the ceiling and I wonder what might have happened if I had been invited to George Clinton's house in high school, and I would have been able to jam with the P-Funk Army and perhaps go on trips with men and women who are much older than me that were willing to share their experiences.
I think you'd be a club promoter right now.
And perhaps I could be a club promoter, Allan. What do you think?
I think it would be quite interesting if these older artists took you under their wing and said, "Let's bring a child on tour with us and just see what happens."
And I could have opened a club myself, with the money that I would have made from touring with the P-Funk Army, and I would have come to people. I would have passed people on the street and I said, "You look like you want to have a good time tonight, madam and sir. Come to the Robbie Rackleff Spook House, which is not a haunted house. It is in fact a clubhouse where we dance all night and we listen to hentai."
That's a really interesting idea, and I do think adults like it when a little kid says something like that to them.
Kristin?
I just like if hentai is for me when I'm alone, like journaling.
That's how I feel about Poison the Well.
But I would like to share hentai with Robbie as a friend in a friendship way, where maybe after the show, Robbie and I could do hentai, look at hentai and talk about it and just discuss it in like a book club, just a friendly book club.
Where would you start at like fan made Pokemon stuff or
it's the arts.
Bugs and ladies.
Have we introduced the next Steam Key giveaway yet? Also, the phone lines are open. Is someone on the? Someone's been on the line. Someone's been on the line this entire time. Caller, you're on the air with twitch.tv/EGI_2. Are you ready to make it happen? Are you ready to make it happen tonight with the Steam Key giveaway?
Yes, I am, Robbie. Hentai to you and hentai to Kristin.
How long were you
Back
here?
to you,
How
Allan.
much did you hear?
Back to you, Robbie.
Did you hear our conversation that we were having? Were you listening in and not letting us know?
I was. I didn't want to be rude. I was waiting to be addressed. like I'll be quiet.
And
I'll
who
wait
is,
for them
and
to
who
get
is
back
it,
to
and
me.
who is it calling right now?
This is Nick from Tacoma.
Nick from Tacoma, Washington. It's a party city. Everyone in Tacoma, Washington throws their hats up in the air when they run outside for party day. And party day is every day in Tacoma.
They do. I can verify that. I drove through the downtown, the heart of the party district, they called it.
Let's go ahead and
down
play
there,
the trailer for our next Steam Key giveaway tonight. Twitch.tv/. There's a little pimple behind my nose, little nostril right here, and I think it might have popped.
It doesn't look popped, but it does look painful.
Chosen
So sorry.
I've been waiting.
So this is obviously, if you've enjoyed the recent Record of Lodos War Metroidvania style game, you might recognize this thing. And also Child of Light kind of looking type of thing. Action RPG elements in a Metroidvania kind of map. Who knows what kind of a story this game is. This is the kind of game that stands up and demands attention for probably 6 to 12 hours. Depending on your ability to
says this looks
enjoy
good. Joe, you can't get 2 games.
Can't get 2 games. Don't get. This is just for Nick from Tacoma. If Nick wants. If he can guess.
What's that?
You can customize the sword.
If he can guess the trivia that I'm preparing for him.
Did I see a skill tree? What is
There's a skill tree. Oh, it's a Metroidvania, so there's got to be a skill tree. There's probably like medallions you can equip that like augment various skills. And
I spent all that money on Diablo last summer, and I haven't played in a long time.
Diablo 2 obviously is out now on Nintendo Switch. Diablo 3 is out on Nintendo Switch.
People say we should give this game to Nathan
Diablo 4. Oh, what did I start saying? Diablo. Anyway, if you love Nick, then you'll.
Yes.
I'm not talking to Nick. I'm saying if you love Nick, which we all love Nick, as we've all expressed love to each other into the communion this evening, then Nick, will be the winner of After Image on Steam.
I'm pretty excited for this, Robbie. I'm honestly surprised you don't want to play this one.
I don't.
This looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good, and in fact, I do want to play this one, but I have too many Metroidvanias in the backlog, and I've got to let some gas out of the tank. If you hear what if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I know that all too well, Robbie.
The trivia. I don't have the trivia.
Yep.
So
what does this mean
I'll just
for
give
me
you
then?
After Image, which is GRWFY-YHKILH7TGP. Do you want me to repeat that?
Yes, please, Robbie.
GRWFY.
GRT. Would it start with G?
IL like Illinois, H7 like Happy 7. TGP.
What did it start with?
What?
It sounded like a G or a J.
GRW.
GRW.
George, you could say George Washington.
Really Washington.
GRW. Isn't that the GRW Expressway there?
That's what they call it.
And the trivia, what was the trivia, Allan?
What are you talking about?
Where are you going?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for your caller, Nick. Next up, we have another caller on the line. It's caller, you're on the air with twitch.tv/EDI_2. What are your thoughts on After Image, Solstice, Oaken, or Snowtopia? Are you sad you missed out?
Yeah, those all looked like fun games. Oaken looked cool. It looked like a Settlers of Catan type thing with the hexagonal gameplay, and Snowtopia looked like a fun roller coaster tycoon type, kind of like Firewatch type graphics type of game, and it looked really fun. I've recently been unemployed, so I thought it would be nice to have a game to play, but I missed out on all the keys, so I guess I'll get it next time.
Caller, guess what? You're in luck because we still have a couple more Steam keys to give out, and tonight we're giving out another one. Let's see the trailer
No way.
and see what our color is up against. God Almighty. So this looks like it's obviously we were talking about what kind of games look like other kinds of games. This is one of those top-down. This is kind of like a FTL style thing, but
what is that?
It's a game where you build starships and you have to repel people that are docking on the starship.
It looks like a cartoon.
It's a docking game. It's a party game, and people run into each other, and big ships run into smaller ships, and smaller ships run into much larger ships.
I don't want trouble when I'm docking.
And there's turrets, air wars. That's a funny video game news. Turrets, air wars, Alan.
Yes, that's funny.
Thank you. And of course, and shockwaves. And you can't have a flying game without blasting out shockwaves and knocking other things out of the sky. This is the type of game that demands that you sit up and play it rather than lie down and take it. So the tagline is "Break into aerial combat."
Big old bugs.
And I guess that's the tagline. It's Black Skylands, break into aerial combat.
It looks really good.
It looks good. Caller, is this your type of game? Are you excited about this now that you're gainfully unemployed?
Yeah, this looks pretty fun. It looks like something I can fill my time with. I like the sky games, like Sky Levels and Mario Brothers, and BioShock Infinite. It's got that kind of vibe going on. Like from the art style, but more pixel art. This looks good. It's no hentai or anything like that. Yeah, this looks awesome.
No hentai, as far as we know. It's kind of a patchwork pixel art style. If you remember Patchwork Heroes on the PlayStation Portable, and this looks like that, but it is not that. And everybody, and this is a test of loyalty, of faith, of fellowship. We are going to be asking everyone to not take away this Steam key from this desperate young person, because this person's been run through it. The economy's lousy. Everybody's
run through.
Caller, are you ready for the Steam key?
Yeah. I forgot my Steam password, so I have to figure that out. But I'll write it down and then I'll
just write it down.
Hopefully, you set up next time this happens to you. Set up two-factor authentication. H 981 9CC. Oh, sorry. 9. I got excited because I got excited for this new part.
Is H
98Y dash 9C
998Y,
which is an apartment number that I actually had at one point, so that's easy to remember. And then BBC,
Wait, what was that again?
which is extremely easy to remember.
Ish or big.
And this is the hard part. This is the key. This is the clinker. If you can get this in before any of these jackals in the chat can open theirs, because everybody's got their Steam pages.
Hyenas.
Jackals.
And hyenas.
I3VGE.
I3VGE.
When I see
I3VGE EGI to you.
EGI 2.
And
can I give you my code to make sure I have it down right?
Yeah, and any passwords or any codes you want to share with us, let's
hear it.
Just lie them flat on the table and read them out loud.
Okay, H 98Y dash BBC I3VGE.
BDC
9C, which is the apartment. Oh wait,
Robbie's apartment.
No, I never lived in it was a 9D.
Oh, never mind.
And it actually wasn't
9D
BBC, which is easy to remember.
9D BBC.
BBC like BBC.
Like, yeah.
Wait, it's 9C BBC, but you lived in 9D.
9D.
I lived in 9D, but I lived next to 9C, which is probably why I thought that.
Nine C BBC.
9C GBC.
3VGE.
I3VGE. VGE.
I3.
And I don't want to hear any. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear any. I don't want to
That's
hear
what
any
I
blue
said.
humor about those.
I3 Baldur's Gate E.
So
I wasn't gonna say anything.
i3 like the third generation iPod. VG like video games, and then
obviously.
E like the E from E3.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it?
Yeah, I still gotta figure out how to log into Steam though.
So you can't even check
I'll
right
figure
now?
that out.
You gotta get
Call
on.
back. Just call back when you get it. No one else is gonna do it. No one wants the game.
Get out. Hang up the phone. Open up Steam and recover your password as quickly as possible.
Call Steam support.
Nathan Vegetable wants to know how the skinny pops are. Alan, what does that mean?
They're quite good.
But are they flavored?
This is cheddar. This is white cheddar. These are Luke's. I'm taking Luke's snacks. I think that's the least I could do after what he did for us.
Skinny pops were one of the things that the kids up at the George Clinton house used to do.
They had popcorn.
Next up on, let's go ahead and take a pause on the phone lines and give the chat another chance at recovering the Steam keys themselves, and see what our next trailer is for our next Steam key giveaway. This is a lot of fun. I'm having a great time, Kristin. I hope you're having a good time.
I'm having the time of my life. And I owe it to EGI2.
And cut to me, and I'm doing the rock band level, and you got a perfect score.
Thank you. I had.
Oh, she's gone. What's this?
So what is this? Can
I help you?
This is a game that's looks like maybe one person made.
Oh, so interesting.
It's got it's all flat. There's no parallax. They're using what looks like Arial black font.
Oh, it's one of those.
And it's one of these kinds of games. So there's some bloom lighting effects, and for some reason, kind of Binding of Isaac looking graphics every once in a while, but mostly it just looks pretty.
This looks turn-based.
Looks kind of turn-based. Looks kind of sleepy, like someone who was asleep made it. And just maybe generated AI images with their free time, with one free hand, while the other free hand was doing skinny pops with George Clinton and the P-Funk Army.
It reminds me of a video. It was like one of those early internet videos where I was like, did I make this up? And then I Googled it this year and I didn't make it up.
This looks like Revenge of the Bird King, but if Revenge of the Bird King, every once in a while someone looked at the screen while they were making the game and kind of added like a couple lines here and there.
That game is hard. Hard as in good or hard as in difficult?
Robbie, I missed the Wednesday stream, but I watched the VOD and love the format of caller reviews. On Wednesdays, I just do a stream from home where people are now calling into the show and reviewing video games at me, and then I press buttons.
And this is it under EGI2 or is it a solo project?
It's an EGI2. It's called EGI2 U Game Reviews. EGI2 U Game Reviews is coming back on Wednesday. That is Wednesday, March 20th at 3 p.m. I'm sorry, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it goes for about 2 hours, which gives me enough time to catch the bus and go to the pool, where I go and do water treading because I have a lot of lower back pain, and my doctor says that that is partially a result of having a weak core. So I've been trying to work on the core.
Robbie, you don't have a weak core.
I will call in because I have some opinions.
You have some opinions, so feel free to call in on Wednesday. It's a full call-in show. It's a lot of fun. We've only done it once, and
I'm not
tried
part
out
of
a
it.
new
I'm
microphone.
not there.
Alan, sometimes he pops in to like say something in the chat and then pops out. But
I won't be there, but I may call in.
Great. So what was that called? What was that game called?
Lisa
Definitive Edition.
Lisa, are you home?
She says, Lisa, I'm home, and she's Ricky. She's the little Ricky.
No, you're thinking of Lucy, Robbie. But we're talking about the Simpsons.
Lisa, I'm home.
And then,
maybe I'm wrong.
Lisa says, little Ricky. And it's a story about two girls named Lisa and their pet fairies that live in between the covers of their very thick books.
This is what EGI2 is like. And the Steam key
And the Steam key for Lisa Definitive Edition is EIO.
EIO.
EI0.
EI0.
Let's not have any fun. Let's not have any fun now. EI0 4W.
4W. Four Little Women.
PJ.
4W.
It took me a long time before I met my first PJ, and PJ I met is a prince. PJ. So
Private Jet.
dash PJ 4D3. And I'll tell a little story about PJ. I don't think he'd mind me telling it. He's a Cuban feller, and but most of his family lives in Mexico City. And one time he was visiting Mexico City.
This is
and
PJ?
Him and his wife were getting back on the plane to head back to Tallahassee, and he had the worst case of diarrhea he's ever had in his whole life.
On the plane.
Not on the plane. The plane was taxiing. They had just fired up the engines to take off into the sky.
PJ did?
And
Private
PJ
jet?
had to go
he's on a
up.
private jet.
PJ had to go up to the stewardesses and tell them not to fly into the sky because he had to have diarrhea, and he had to say this in front of everybody on the plane, including the air marshal.
Robbie, you can take a shit anywhere. You can. They have bathrooms on.
Don't use the brown
Was
word.
it
Diarrhea.
Was it high pitched because he was holding it in like?
Why was he
I
worried?
have to diarrhea.
Yes, and he said to the stewardesses, either we stop this plane from taking off right now.
We said we'll stop this plane from taking off right now.
And he was holding it in.
Because he's holding it in.
Or we stop this plane from taking off right now, and I go into the bathroom.
I go to the bathroom.
And let loose.
And let loose.
Or I let loose on my seat, and we take the 5-hour flight.
Or I let loose on my seat, and we take the 5-hour flight.
I guess it was actually more like a 3-hour flight to Atlanta.
3-hour flight, because it's like getting worse now. 3-hour flight to Atlanta.
So PJ's Cuban, so his voice sounds markedly different.
Well, I don't know my limits. I have to check that. I'm black, but then asks if you were Hispanic after, and I always say no because I'm not, so I can't.
You're asking if I'm Hispanic?
No, I'm saying the forms will, no matter what you mark, ask if you're Hispanic.
Allan's part Hispanic.
My mother's side is from Spain and Greece, so I could probably do the voice, but I just don't quite know PJ's inflection, so I'm not going to try.
And I'm an Episcopalian, so I just kind of
you could do it.
Live with that and to carry the burden. Did we give out the Lisa complete definitive edition code
No,
yet?
I think we got sidetracked on PJ.
Just
start after PJ.
Oh no, we did. We started with PJ.
Yeah.
PJ 4D3.
4D3.
4D3 dash RWCF7. So obviously Fantasy 7.
Yeah, Fantasy 7.
If you take the C out and replace it with an F, then you have it. That's easier.
Crapmaster Zach got Black Skylands.
Nice. Oh, great. Good. Wait, I thought Black Skylands was supposed to go to Nick from Tacoma. Crackmaster Zach.
Zach, can you return it? Can you
Crackmaster Zach owes Nick from Tacoma a deep apology. You jackal.
Real hyena out here.
I can do a Rhodesian accent.
Let's go.
But I won't.
I don't know. I don't think I know that.
That made me think of radicchio, the red bitter lettuce.
Rhodesians were the Rhodesians are the troubled people.
Rhodesians, the troubled people.
D3, the PJ. So EI0 4W dash PJ. We talked about PJ 4, and the thing that he was for was keeping the plane on the tarmac so he could use the bathroom in front of all those people. Can you just imagine? And then D3, of course, D3 being D2 for the Dreamcast, and D3 was the game that we never got and wish we had. Love to see the story of Laura continue, one of the chapters in her incredibly weird life continue, and then the rest of the key was expressed.
My therapist told me today the only system she ever played on was Sega Dreamcast. Really? That was very interesting because I think she's about my age.
I never had a video game console when I was a kid. I got to use the computer room where I could play on the computer. Never had any game consoles. I always wanted one.
You didn't go to a friend's house and play?
I would go to a friend's house and I could play one, but I never had one of my own to call my own. My parents said no. And I went to college. When I came home, I got home, and under the TV set, I noticed a little something under the TV. I said, what's that under the TV? There's a little white box. I thought it was a surge protector. My dad had purchased a Nintendo Wii for Wii Sports for himself. And I said, oh, now as soon as I leave the house, you buy a video game console. And he said, I don't ever play it. And I said, could I have it? I've always wanted a video game console. He said no.
I just got a great idea. This could be me. I'm standing outside of my new club. Guess what my club is called? Because we're talking about being an Episcopalian. It's called St. Martin's in the Fields.
I thought you were gonna say like Club God.
And then and the tagline for the club is play ball.
Someone did say Wee Trail, and that's very good.
You get it?
I personally didn't get it.
Well, it's not in the Wren Cathedral, the Anglican Cathedral in London, St. Martin's in the Fields, is a place of reflection and of history, and it is a gray building without a lot of.
I don't listen to the Beatles.
Without a lot of color.
I don't listen to the Beatles.
And but my St. Martin's in the Fields would be a field where people could play ball.
Lucy in the sky.
That's what it sounds like. The name sounds like that.
All right, and finally on our EGI2 Steam Key giveaway marathon. This is a marathon. Whether you liked it or not, it was a marathon, and this is the final one of the evening, and this is the big one. And this one is a special one dear to my heart because of what we were talking about before.
Vietnam.
With Colony Wars, which I guess you could make some semantic connections there. French colony.
Okay.
See the trailer.
Eyes.
This is the eyes kind of game. Obviously, we've had a lot of games with eyes in the Steam Key giveaway tonight. But this is the fun one. Most of these games probably weren't that fun, but this game I've been told is a great deal of fun, especially if you have a Steam Deck. And it's a flying in space kind of game. It's one of those games where Steam Deck, where you hold the
eyes.
And this is an absolute blast to play if you love flying in space and blowing things out of the space area. When things go blowing them away from space, you hit them so hard. So you're not in space anymore because you've hit the thing with the missile and you've bombed the thing out of space.
Living weapon.
So if you're the living weapon, you're the killer pilot, you're the rogue, gone crazy, you're going nuts. No one in the whole damn galaxy isn't safe from Eyes Woman. So this is Eyes Woman game, and she's having a lot of fun, and you're gonna have a lot of fun when you play Chorus. Rise as One. So maybe that'll be the
Corvs.
So it's called Corvs. So Rise as One is kind of catchy. So maybe that'll be my nightclub tagline. I'll stand outside of St. Martin's in the Fields, and I'll say Rise as One to everyone who enters.
Rise as One.
Rise as One.
Rise.
That's pretty cool.
And I think of the great literary villain Fagin, or from Oliver Twist. Who always in the pictorial descriptions always had his thumbs in his
very Fagin
jackets
this
like
is the guy that didn't say consider yourself alone.
No, he could. What was it? Consider yourself.
Consider yourself alone.
Consider yourself.
Consider yourself part of the family.
No, that is Fagin.
He sings that.
Yeah, he sings that to Oliver.
Okay.
When Oliver gets
he's a
recruited
good
into
guy.
And I don't mean to upset Allan, but
God bless
when
Fagin.
Oliver is absorbed into the criminal network. Fagin and Bill,
That's the only thing I know from Oliver Twist.
Okay.
I'm gonna have more Scooby
Bill.
snacks.
What is Bill's last name from Oliver Twist? Now that's gonna drive me crazy all evening.
I'm sorry.
Is it Bill Framework? Caller, you're on the air. We have a caller on the line right now. Oh, we haven't had a caller in a long time. Okay. Well, good, because we're gonna give the chorus. We're gonna give the chorus theme key to the chat. So, ready, set, go. HJ6 E4 BED bed GG like GG like GG the nightclub dancer. Dash HX4 TI. Say
that one again.
We talked about TI from Tallahassee. Okay. We do have a caller now. Okay, caller. First, let's do HJ684-BED-GG-HX4TI. And caller, you're on the air with EGI2. Good chance you're not going to get to the theme key in time. But what are you thinking about the chorus? About chorus so far?
You know, I have to say, it seems like a pretty impressive game. I mean, that's okay that I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to lie. I've only tuned in recently. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm having a very good time, though.
Not tuned in recently.
Welcome to the show,
so this is EGI2. It's a video game news, reviews, and culture talk show, discussion, and sometimes we do different segments.
There used to be a show called EGI. It didn't have one, but there was a silent one at the end, and it was on AdultSwim.com, and it got canceled after many, many years and a lot of fanfare. And this is a different show, unrelated, called EGI2, and the letters don't mean anything.
The letters don't mean anything, and every once in a while I get stuck trying to remember figures from literature or history, and the same way. So you're obviously calling in because you know the name of the character, whose name is Bill in Oliver Twist. Bill, who of course kills his girlfriend, and that tragic scene in that very tough novel.
Yeah, I'm playing XCOM Chimera Squad right now.
Okay.
You ever played it?
What's that on?
And that's like hentai?
It's a spin-off of, you know XCOM.
What's it on?
Oh, Razorhead Baby's got it in the chat. It's Bill Sykes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Razorhead Baby. So you're playing Chimera Squad. You're having a time.
I was about to say Sykes. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yes, but you're obviously you're playing Chimera Squad, but Dickens is on the mind.
Yeah, well, there's levels of it that take place in London.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's an inner splice thing there, which is interesting because it's a transhumanist thing. I don't want to spoil XCOM 2, but it's after XCOM 2, so there are members of XCOM that are now both human and alien.
And that brings us back to something, a bit of a narrative that we were dealing with at the top of the show, which is dealing with the origins of certain types of hybrid human-animal precursors. With the little mouse boy.
The shape of the front of the mouth.
Exactly. It's called. It was what was it?
Muzzle, a hybrid
yeah.
muzzle.
So a man muzzle. A man muzzle, and a little boy named Chuck E. Cheese.
What were the ears like?
And who was sexually obsessed with birds that came off of a giant stripper.
I'm new to the show, but I think I pulled off a real back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, caller.
Back to you, Robbie, and back to you, Allan, because it's back to the beginning of the show.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
It's wrong. I fucked it up.
No.
It's totally fine.
Maybe we get a hype train going. We could fully go back to the story.
Well, you're being completely. It's completely fine. You're totally hentai right now, and thank you for your call.
All right.
Hentai.
It's always great when the show grows and we get new fans to call in and learn about EGI2 because it is very dense. It is hard to learn about it. I've seen every single episode, and I'm still learning every day because what it is because I don't quite get it.
This evening we have explored many cultures and communities. We've explored the different far-flung corners of the British Empire, from Wales to Hong Kong.
To where's Kate
Middleton? Exactly. And we've gone as far into the polar south as Peru, and as far north as Cardiff, further north than London, further north than Paris.
Essex, yeah.
Oh, caller! We have another caller on the air right now? Oh, it's the same one. Oh, great. What do you think so
Was I
far?
supposed to hang up? I wasn't really sure on the cue.
EGI2, one thing to learn, because you're new, we don't quite know how to hang up on the callers, but they're always on. We don't know when they're on. They hear our every word when we don't know they're listening. So it's like kind of like, feels like we're on a hot mic and the things we're saying we don't realize people
And
hear.
all these buttons do different things, and if you hit the wrong button, it goes to a different set of buttons. And then also someone deleted all of the files that go to the buttons, so we had to kind of make things up. We've been making things up as we go along for the past couple of weeks because we only can get in here a couple of hours a week before the show starts. So these are just.
Okay, well, please sound off in the chat if there is something wrong with the show.
Now, literally.
You don't.
Back to you.
Back to you.
No,
we didn't get. What was your name? Welcome to the family.
Oh, I'm Clark from Philly.
Clark from Philly. We love Philly. It's a party town. Hell divers live there. People that live to die and dive.
My father's from there.
Kristin's father's from there. So you guys could be make a conversation out of that if you ever ran into each other platonically. We have another caller on the line right now. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2, twitch.tv/EGI_2. What are your thoughts? Cardiff?
This is Crabmaster Zach. I just wanted to call to say that I was the one who called earlier, and I got the Steam key. I figured out my Steam password, and I got into my account, nice. But you said that I had stolen the password, and I just wanted to clear up my name. That was not I didn't steal anything. I took what was rightfully mine, and
I'm sorry. That
I just wanted to
probably
call
didn't feel very good.
I'm sorry about that. I mixed you up with Nick from Tacoma because I was in the Nick from Tacoma situation. I gave Nick the Steam key
for Black Sky. Black Sky.
Wait, are you Nick from Tacoma?
I have to address.
I'm Crabmaster Zach.
Crabmaster Zach, friend of the show, great one of the great artists of our time. Crabmaster Zach, who's always been sending us wonderful images that we show on It's the Arts, and we never have anything bad to say about Crabmaster Zach.
Not a bad word. Not a bad word.
We've never called him a wanton criminal who stalks the night, knives the night, whose heart is darker and blacker than the space in between shadows. We've never said that about you, Crabmaster Zach.
We wouldn't.
Thank you. I don't want to be beaten up by Allan, mainly. I know he goes out and he does his thing, and
you don't want the
if
guy.
I cross paths with him, I don't want to cross
Crabmaster
paths
Zach,
with Allan.
Would you go to a club called St. Martin's in the Fields if a fella was outside of it? If you said come hither?
I don't know. I mean, if it was interesting, yeah, maybe.
Well, what do you think is interesting?
We have the same. Well, I would also approach it like, "What's in it for me?"
What's in it for you?
That's what I would say to the guy.
What do people do in clubs, Crabmaster Zach?
I don't know. Drink. Maybe like
Grind.
work. Try and build something together as like a
big
maybe.
Duplo house.
Yeah.
So that's what St. Martin's in the Fields
they
is
just
about.
Drink and talk and like commute, like socialize.
Poison.
St. Martin's in the Fields is a new club coming at some point in the near time future to a town near you with low real estate costs. St. Martin's in the Fields, come into the club on a Saturday night and build a big Duplo house with all of your friends.
Come into the club on the Saturday night, build a big old Duplo house with your friends.
Can I address
Sounds
something
nice.
in the chat?
Something to keep people off the
Crabmaster Zach,
streets
I'm
and
very
not
sorry
doing
that you were raked over the coals earlier, but I've made a lot of mistakes this night. I'm trying to impress Kristin. I obviously am so pleased that she's been willing to come here and spend a day with us discussing the video game news and reviews that are so important to this day and age as we learn and grow not only as a EGI2 community, but also as the genre matures.
Well, I appreciate you, Robbie, and I appreciate you, Kristin, and I appreciate you, Allan. Thank you for being here and doing the show.
And remember,
thank you for
And whenever you're feeling lonely, remember that there's hentai there out there for you, and to give your family and your friends hentai, and to let them give hentai to you.
Thank you. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Zach. I think that went well.
That was very nice.
That
I'd
was
like to
very
address a
kind.
comment.
We do have one last segment to
I
get to
just want
this
to
evening.
address a comment.
What's that?
EGI2 Watcher asks, they highlighted a chat. They said, Allan, did you delete your YouTube account? So I just would like to publicly acknowledge that my YouTube account has been deleted against my will by the YouTube Corporation due to a violation that I did not know that I had committed, where I privately uploaded an unlisted video, and there was some sort of violation in the video, some sort of a problematic imagery in the video that offended someone. I don't know how they saw it, but I guess it was bad, and they deleted my entire YouTube account. So sound off in the chat if you've ever dealt with this sort of company, this corporation, and you know how to get a YouTube account back, because it is gone. All my videos for over a decade of crazy, weird videos. Anyone who knows me knows I post weird videos, but nothing that violates any sort of laws. I would never do that. So if you know how to get a YouTube channel back, please sound off in the chat and call your YouTube representative and tell them that you want the Allan Resnick channel back on YouTube. Back to you.
Alan, that's so terrible.
The caller's here.
That's awful. It's,
Okay.
It's Catherine from Philly.
Catherine
I
from
thought you
Philly,
were
Catherine, lovely to hear your voice.
new call. Okay, hi, thank you.
I don't know how to get a YouTube account back, but I do know how to get a Neopets account back.
I just want to
Okay,
say,
that could be
Catherine,
helpful.
were you because I know you're sort of learned in the history of video games. Did you catch the joke I made about the ICP shirt that Kristin is wearing?
Yeah, the thing with like the Colony Wars project.
Yes, interesting Colony Wars projects.
The thing that I thought about that I didn't get a chance to put in the chat because it went too fast. So I'm really glad that we're coming back to it, actually. Excuse me. Is I thought that was like the folder in an executive's computer that like we dream exists but doesn't exist. You know, and
Lord.
that's the title of the folder. It's Interesting Colony Wars projects. We want that.
We do want
but
that.
It's not there.
The closest
It's
that
not
we're
there.
getting is Chorus on PC, but we'll take it. But we want Colony Wars back. We want that guy who sounds like James Earl Jones back. We want the whole storyline to be resolved properly. We want to fly through the outer space. We want to hit the capital ships, and we want to hit the big walking tanks on the ground.
We just want joy again.
Yeah.
You know?
And don't do that. And Interesting Colony Wars projects better not do the goddamn thing that they always do with these types of games when they try to bring them back, which is bring third-person shooter levels. They did it with Star Fox Assault, and it was a bummer.
Yeah, I don't like that. You know, sometimes you gotta keep that design doc kind of lean, and you just gotta kind of ride that through, I think. Let's not gloss over the thing that happened that Allan just said. How am I going to show people enterings now? Where is this? And what's going to happen?
Unfortunately, you'd have to pay for EternalFamily.tv to watch it, and it wouldn't be as the frame rate would be a little bit lower. It wouldn't be as crisp.
But you might find there's a video of me on that website where I'm chopping I chopped down a tree in my yard, and I did a bunch of annoying editing during.
I love that.
So
I mean, yeah.
with a chainsaw.
I gotta sign up for streaming services now. No.
I'm gonna do everything in my power to fight these
jackals,
these idiots, these jackals on YouTube, and
start
don't
the
bootleg,
emailing campaign.
don't bootleg my material and make a separate fake account for me, because those if you monetize my videos, I'll that's my money and it belongs to me. So I'm gonna march down to the Google headquarters, wherever Google is located. I'm gonna find the chief executive officer at Google, and I'm gonna say, you better not. What I did wasn't wrong. I didn't know I was making a mistake, and no one can see what the private things that I do.
You're stealing from them. Is what you're saying.
Yes.
You're stealing.
I would say, they're stealing from you.
You're criminals.
They're doing a crime to you by removing your access to your own YouTube.
See, look at his eyes.
So
Look at
they're
him.
the criminals.
Look at his ears. Look at his eyes and his ears.
Look how hot
ears.
Look how red hot my ears are.
Hot ears.
That guy.
His eyes are turning are filling with what, like, you ever see one of those movies
Oh
where the
Lord,
eyes
oh
turn all
God,
black?
pray for me.
They fill with
Oh,
oil.
not
The
again.
and the oil is the hate.
Oil is the blood.
Oil is the
Yes.
It's not oil. It's not even it's the color. It's not a color. It's the absence of color.
That would start. He's changing.
Wow, incredible.
Incredible.
He's
Can't
gonna
believe we're
go.
seeing it.
Well, let's do It's the
Can we
Arts.
open the door?
Oh. We have It's the Arts. Next up,
Get him the red
while
snack.
Alan's body is obviously he's trying to hold it back. What do they say about the Incredible Hulk? The way that they keep the Incredible Hulk toasty and cozy inside of Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner says, they says, what does he say to them? They say, calm down every time. And maybe one of the ways that we can calm this terrible beast, Catherine from Philly, is with the arts.
It's time for the art. Let's observe the beautiful work.
So
of the community.
Kristin, It's the Arts is a beautiful section where people send us their beautiful art, and we show it live on twitch.tv/EGI_2, and we discuss from an art critical perspective ways of seeing John Berger Art Forum.
I only watched the first episode of that like 2 months ago, and I need to keep watching it.
It's the Arts.
Let's see it.
It's the Arts.
First up on It's the Arts, it's Nacho Cheese 3 with a beautiful representation. Nacho Cheese's representations never fail to please the eye, and in this case, an eye is an old, crusty, dry eye from the story time from last week, which involved a woman who lives with a floating eye, like a beholder-style creature that can't blink, so its eye gets all dried out and gets all crusty and gross. And then there was also a bunch of porno people that go to villages and turn into like a giant mound of flesh.
Now, is that going to make the eye feel good or just blur its vision?
Well, we never got to find out because the hype train didn't go far enough. So we unfortunately, the moral of the story might have had something to do with creaming your eye, but.
That's so nice. Thank you so much, Nacho Cheese. That's very pretty and nice drawing.
Next up
Great job.
Next up is Frame Gride. EGI2 sponsor Frame Gride. We're always looking. If you know anybody who worked on Frame Gride or published Frame Gride, then see if they'd be interested in sponsoring the show. Next up is Ryan from Rhode Island.
Hey!
He usually sends us
wow, look at that hat.
He's wearing one of Allan's hats. Allan
Go to my
apparently
website.
sells clothes.
Go to my website. Buy my hats. Use product code LukeMan at checkout. You get $1 off the hats. Luke gets $1, and I need the money now more than ever because I've been completely deplatformed. My only outlet now would be EGI2.
We'd love to see pictures of people wearing clothes on EGI2. So if you got any clothes pictures, obviously we had vaping before, so that maybe inspired Ryan from Rhode Island to pull out his trusty Hobbit puff.
Get a hat, everybody. Everybody, go online and get a hat right now. I'll find the link.
Very cool now.
Thank you. The show is cool now. I got a cool kimono shirt, and now I get to pretend. I'm going to pretend to be a club owner that owns a club called St. Martin's in the Fields that allows people to come on the weekends and build big Duplo houses as a community.
Duplo.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, Catherine.
Club God was good too. I liked
you.
that one.
Club God, that might be like a Methodist thing. I don't know about it.
I actually did grow up
Next
going
up
to a
is
Methodist
AV
church.
from Texas. Is beautiful drawing here of EGI2 stream number 9, in which we had 2 very special guests, Ben O'Brien and Cricket Harrison, friends of the show, family, extended family.
Amazing.
They are gender fluid people, and we can't quite say they are brothers and sisters of another mother, but they are indeed our dearest friends that are also sexual deviants.
Woo!
And we get and we see all the beautiful line work, and then Allan, of course, is hovering in the back there, showering us with special reports. While he showers us and radiates special reports, he's also inwardly radiating hatred.
And my head is the biggest.
Gush.
And gushing. Next up is another one from AV from Texas, and this is one of my favorite ones. There was a couple of different versions of this one, but I felt like this was the right one to choose. So this is.
That's what I want to eat tonight.
Now look at our bodies.
Look at our bodies.
That's quite nice.
There was a time when my body may have looked like that, and I dearly missed that time.
The
but,
facial hair as well.
The facial hair never quite grew properly, but we did try it a couple times to grow Flavor Saver, but unfortunately we're advised, not unfortunately, I think properly advised against it. It was the aughts, and we were dealing with a lot of a lot of cultural cross currents.
Gotta be honest, don't know about this one, but all right.
All right. So this is obviously we are two jolly boys enjoying a bit of Tex-Mex. AB from Texas sent this in.
Oh, I get it.
And AB is, of course,
I think I get it.
I think did talk to us about different types of food.
Okay.
I don't like barbacoa though. What do you think?
I'm
bit too
gonna
chewy.
go for carne asada before.
Yeah, carne
barbacoa.
asada. Carne asada is probably where I'm gonna lie. And every once in a while, I'll just fall back on chicken because I'm just having a tough time, and
I love a tinga chicken.
I mean,
the red one.
Just grill it.
Tinga.
I'll put some lemon on it if I feel like I need any more excitement in my
No
life.
lime.
I'm saying I will if I need it, but sometimes you just want a piece of
Oh, you mean limon?
dry chicken. Catherine, what do you think?
You know, I'm a big fan of the red meat. I gotta be honest. I go for the steak every time. It's a simple choice for me. You know. So I'll take a carne asada. I'll take whatever you throw down.
Is carne asada considered red meat, or is it just the color red because of the texture?
No, beef is red meat.
Actually, I don't know anything about food in any way, really.
Carne asada
I
was
just kind of.
Carne asada is beef.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. That's what I thought. Well, anyway.
Oh, I'm thinking of
Hey,
carnitas.
is this food information? Or
well, that's
is
and that
this
you know,
EDI
if
too?
you're just joining EDI2's family, we do there's a lot of brains in the room. And
it's a culture show. We do all kinds of things. It's not just video games. It's food. It's nightlife. It's partying. It's just fun stuff. It's a fun show for fun people. So anything you like, this is it.
Kristin Wallace has been drinking all night. She's been vaping. We've been getting the backdrafts from the vaping. So I assume that means that we're also on drugs now, which means that when we gave out the Steam keys, we were doing that while we were completely out of control, high, and now we're criminals.
I don't like this.
No, it's legal. You're good. You're good.
We're good. We didn't do anything. We're good.
The gush will subside on this day.
Catherine, what do you think? What do you think of the kimono?
I mean, what's our real level right now? I think it's cool to wear it in private. You know, think you're there. We can chill.
Catherine, what are you
with that.
telling
I don't think it doesn't have anything wrong on it.
If I owned if I
wearing.
opened up a club on South Street there in Philadelphia, and I was standing outside of there like Fagin from Oliver Twist with my thumbs in my jacket like this, telling people to come in and build a Duplo house, you're telling me you wouldn't stop and say hello?
I mean, that's a context, right? That's a context that makes a little bit more sense.
Well, it isn't the context. It's the thing. It's the thing itself.
No, I'm saying you're providing a context in which it is appropriate. Then I'm saying I would come and say hi at the damn. What is it called? What's the club again?
St. Martin's in the
religious...
Fields. Like the Wren
St.
Church
Martin's...
in London.
Can we zoom in on that really quick? Let's just tack down.
Everybody go to Google Maps. Open up your Google Maps app if you're on your phone or if you're on a laptop or a PC. Go to the website, Google Maps, type in St. Martin's in the Fields, and then look at it. And tell me if that isn't...
I'm on the call!
You don't want to do both, or you can't do both?
I'm sorry.
William Blake went to St. Martin's in the Field. You gonna tell me that guy wasn't a party animal?
He's got to be in this life, you know. I gotta see you later. I'll take care.
All right, bye, Catherine. Great to hear your voice.
Thanks for your
we've got another caller on the line right now. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2, twitch.tv/EGI_2. It's the Arts. What do you think of AB from Texas's Barbacoa. Allan and me dressed as desperate men. Look, feasting men, desperate men.
I am hungry.
I'd be getting hungry myself. That looks like a good
I'd be getting hungry myself.
Yeah.
Kristin's on drugs.
How many?
That's all I could really say. That taco looks good, and I hope you're having. I hope this is the future you have.
Tacos in the future, tacos in the past, tacos in the present. I'll eat them night and day if I can. But
I'll have a Baja Blast.
But you know,
yes. Try again.
Try again.
Say tacos in the future.
Tacos in the future, tacos in the past, tacos in the present. I'll have a Baja Blast. See, what you call, you may not know this, but Washington, D.C. is the home of slam poetry. And what you've just experienced is a version of that.
It's been an incredibly artistic episode, one of our most interesting episodes. Drinking, smoking, singing,
Contact
poetry.
highs, regular highs.
Not a lot of video game stuff, though.
Which is kind of shocking.
We did talk for a while about Dark Messiah, Might and Magic, I will remind people, but in the context, of course, of various heads of state and newsmakers and previous officials of colonial British outposts.
Buck Bumble.
We didn't talk about Buck Bumble this time.
Dang.
Caller, what do you think?
I think that's there's a lot going on in that game for sure. I don't know if it connects to Washington D.C., but actually, if I may ask, I know we're past the Steam key part of the show, but asking viewers to give keys.
What?
Actually, never mind that. Never mind about that.
Caller, recite an emotional monologue that is completely improvised at this moment, right now.
A monologue?
Emotional one.
Tear your heart out of your chest and show it to the whole community.
Now, every time I would think that perhaps I wouldn't find something out there that's for me. You know, I've tried everything. I've tried being a firefighter, being a musician, being an office worker, but I mean, none of it worked. But it only took me one thing. Just the other day, I just went to my local arcade. Right in front of me was asteroids. I go back to that each and every day now because it sort of brought something into me. I need to get that high score, but I got so caught up with it, and it's like before you know it, that arcade is closed. It's no more. It's now 10 miles away from me, and you know. But then that made me realize if I could keep gunning up on a game like Asteroids, there's perhaps something else that I could be gunning up for more as well, beyond the arcade, beyond the dream job, you know. There's just more.
Caller, thank you for that. And I want to just say one last thing, which is that if you ever come across a nightclub called St. Martin's in the Fields, then I highly recommend you play ball.
Likewise. Back to you, Robbie.
Good night, everybody.